Folks, hello and welcome to the Random Party Generator, otherwise known as RPG. I am one of your hosts, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. With me is our random pal. We might have more coming in as the show goes on. They're not the most punctual. But to me, stage right is none other than Tim Shorts, he of Gothridge Manor.
Gothridge Manor, yes.
Gothridge Manor, you will comply.
You should be the one to write the Ravenloft thing, Tim.
Yes.
What's that? Ravenloft? I love Ravenloft.
Yeah, you should write the clone and call it the Tainted Lands. Oh wait, that was already done. By the way, what a horrible name. I think of something else when I think of Tainted Lands. But in any case, beneath me is none other than Rob Conley, Bat in the Attic Games, Black Marsh, and the Avatar, the Chubby Funster, Greg Christopher. Who, by the way, if you want to see what Greg looks like, please,
there you go.
Go back to Wednesday's episode of Talking Crit. He was our special guest, and you can see what Greg looks like when he talks to, I guess, the most problematic individual in the OS.
I don't know, most problematic.
I don't remember saying most. They just
all right.
Problematic.
He's a problematic individual. Yeah. That's true. When you got people like the pundit out there, I don't think I'm all that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like
the pundit showed his face, so
not willingly. The pundit apparently suffers from boomerism. I hear that can be terminal for some people, but apparently he didn't intend to show his face, and now people have clipped the part. Everybody's afraid that he's going to delete the video, so now there are people like, the RPG pundit shows his face. And I'm getting people sending me these 2-minute video clips.
Are they going to auto-tune him talking too as he's doing stuff?
Oh, now that would be awesome. I could just.
You're not going to like that. He doesn't like being made fun of, that's for sure.
Oh, well, welcome to the internet.
Oh, poor baby. I get made fun of constantly or mocked.
Yes.
So, and I put my face out there
from other people that are outside this group.
Well, yeah. Well, this group, we mock each other. Come on. What we really need is just like right now, because Matt's not here, we should have like a fifth quiet avatar with a ladder. That's all.
There we go.
And listen, Joe's not here to do the normal mocking of Matt. So
he's usually
somebody has to step up.
Matt just texted me and said, "What's the topic?" I'm going to say him. So I guarantee you, within 5 minutes, Matt is going to be on here.
I had to take a shit break at work, and here I am. Matt, we mock you because we love you, or platonically like you.
Well, I love to mock him. I don't know.
So we were trying to figure a topic for today that didn't involve us like running a game of ShadowDark, because we've already done that for 2 episodes, and I'm sure folks are waiting for us to do something so stupid that will all be unpersoned on the internet. But we didn't do that. Amazingly enough, that was the fear of even me. But we were throwing shit back and forth earlier today when I did ask, guys, what's the topic for today? And it seems to be the consensus of what we're going to at least start out with today is where this hobby is going in 2023 and beyond when it comes to creativity. Where is the creativity going to be? Because let's be honest, we know it's not coming from Wizards of the Coast. All right.
Hasn't for a while.
Right. And whatever creative efforts they may have when it comes to creativity are going to be solely focused on one thing, and which is putting out the not 6th edition, not 5.5, D&D 5e Forever edition. That's going to come with its own colognes and be well marketed. But this is, that's whatever talent they have, and think is Bug protesting?
No, that's actually not Bug this time. That's Wiggy. Just
Oh,
she's
he's
been
on
seeing
camera.
ghosts lately. She's like, she was growling at the wall earlier today. So I don't know if she's going senile or she's starting to see ghosts again, because she has a tendency to do the cat thing where cats kind of stare up in the sky and pretend to see something, or they are seeing something. She's doing that right now. So I'm just calling her the what is it? The Long Island medium. She's like the short ass.
Oh God, she goes back. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name either. But yeah, she had a show for a while.
I believe she did, and then she didn't.
Isn't that the case? But honestly, I mean, Wizards of the Coast has put out lackluster work. They don't put out settings. When they put out material that, dare I say it, us old timers go, oh look, Planescape. Oh, it's going to be setting material. Oh no, we're going to give you things about Planescape that has nothing to do with setting, or actually ship to ship combat. Because why would you want something like that?
You're going to ride that ship to ship combat things until the cows come
Well,
home.
it's a pretty big.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, lack of a default setting for a Planescape. It's like.
You're talking about Planescape, or are you talking about
wait, Joe, 30 minutes.
Space Jam. Isn't that what you're talking about? Space Jam, not
Space Jam. Yeah, Planescape. I'm sure is on the short list of things to bring back, because they can touch that one without having to step on any potential landmines that they've designated as landmines. So, like, unlike Greg, who, took the full swing and included slavery in his not quite clone of Dark Sun.
It would have been difficult to do a clone of Dark Sun without it in there.
You mean improved version? I think you meant to say.
Was that
improved version?
Improved
version.
Improved.
It is.
New and improved.
Well, so we have that, and actually you show how you can deal with such a topic respectfully, and even say, listen, hey, maybe your group, this isn't a good fit. You can remove it. But it seems to me, and I'm going to throw this out there, that Wizards of the Cult. Wizards of the Cult. There we go. Wizards of the Cult.
That was quite the Freudian slip.
I was going to say, I couldn't tell if you did that on accident or not. That's pretty good one.
That's okay. It's like Rach used to call them witches of the cult. And there's
Told
Matt.
you.
Whoa! All right, everybody, duck. He's
called it. Yeah.
Is that a gnome?
Hey guys. Did you say gnome?
Hold on.
You're fired.
Dude, it's your camera angle that's doing it.
Dude, you had
it made it worse, dude.
Yeah, this is an Instagram, Matt. Come on.
There you go. You've got the sunset behind you.
Those duck lips, huh?
It's like, wow, holy shit! It's more important to shot than you are.
Hi guys.
Just throwing that out there. All right, but now you just derailed my train of thought.
Sorry.
The creatives of Wizards of the Cult.
Wizards, yeah. They don't create these days. They don't put out new material. They're so afraid. They're afraid of doing anything that might push the envelope and get any kind of pushback. So it's like they're playing life on slow mode with bumpers on, wearing knee pads and elbow pads and the hockey helmet, and then just stand in the corner and go, bring it to me.
Right.
And it's like, you've got to push the envelope to be creative. They're not.
I think the starting point to answering your question, because we have, like we were talking about before the show, we have really crappy data in this industry.
Yes.
The Adamantine seller list on drive-through is only 171 products. A lot of them are battle map packs, so you can strike those out. But there's a lot of, the games on here that you can see clearly are like core games for a lot of people. Worlds Without Number, Cyberpunk, the Alien game, Hero Kids, Vampire Masquerade 5th edition, Witcher, Black Hack. It's just you just go down the list. There's a bunch of them. Apocalypse World. And then there's a ton of stuff that used to be published by Wizards of the Coast that they're just putting up PDFs of, and people would rather buy that than what they're currently putting out. So Dark Sun's on here, Planescape's on here, the 1st edition Monster Manual and Player's Handbook and Dungeon Master Guide are on here. But I don't see anything for any core book for 5th edition on here. So people are buying either physical or not from here, but maybe I don't know how many sales they have compared to this. I know it's a really high selling edition, but
with 5e,
it's just the starting point for figuring out what's actually moving.
Well, you know what? Remember, with 5e, Wizards of the Coast official products do not release on drive-thru. There's no PDF of that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you that it isn't just a fear of being, pirated. If there was fear of being pirated, it wouldn't be putting out classic work. The fear is people actually getting sales figures.
Yeah.
That you could
there's some 5e products on it. There's the Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron.
Those are all DM's Guild. Those are all DM's Guild.
Oh, okay, fair point. I didn't know that.
Yes, those are DM's Guild. Those are not products that are being published and printed by Wizards of the Coast. So now, if we're talking about how shitty a product Spelljammer is,
right?
I would like to see Planescape personally, but not the way they're doing it. And we all know Spelljammer. They threw together pretty much a half-assed rip-off of their own work that couldn't bother putting in, again, ship-to-ship combat rules, couldn't put in setting material, blamed the slavery of that was part of a race's background on the prior generation of creators before Wizards of the Coast bought out TSR, and the reality is it was Wizards of the Coast creators that added that in the early 2000s to the background. There's a lack of any kind of sales figures that we can look at for anything 5e and on from Wizards of the Coast. So you can't look at stuff and say, well, they're okay. Well, Spelljammer only sold. It only made copper on drive-thru, yet work from Alan Kammer and Ed Greenwood on Forgotten Realms that Wizards of the Coast passed on and was published through the DM's Guild is like, I don't know, Mithril or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. You can't compare apples to apples because they are intentionally removing themselves from that market. And I think that's on purpose. I think that they don't want us to know when they're doing shitty sales. They don't want us to.
There's 118 DM Guild products that are adamantine. Just throwing that out there.
Okay, and think about it. Those are good numbers. Mm-hmm. Those are good sales figures, and right from there, Wizards of the Coast is getting about 25% of those sales for doing nothing.
Right.
They don't have to, put any kind of effort into that. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking like Northeastern Prison Facility.
Imagine a Korean manufacturing facility, and you'd be accurate.
All right. Well, okay.
They're similar.
A Northeastern Prison Facility built by South Koreans. Okay, so.
Oh, I thought you meant you were making South Koreans. That's pretty cool.
Well, off of I can't read it because I don't have my glasses on and my phone screen's too small. But the comment there is it Zwicky?
Yep.
Said that they've forgotten the most important thing, which is PDFs. But I think the real thing is they don't care about PDFs. I mean, they don't care about playing around the table. They want to move to this digital platform where they can regulate how things are distributed. And I don't think you'll be able to pull off all of the rules off of their digital platform. I think they'll want to keep it contained somehow. So I think we're an afterthought. I think our entire section of the hobby is an afterthought. I think they're hoping the table is a springboard to the digital world.
Oh,
I'd agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So they spawn a new hobby.
No,
That's the way I view it. I mean, it's going to be like computer RPGs when they in the '90s when they first figured out how to do the first-person perspective.
All right, hold on, Eric,
yes.
Mister, whatever that is, whatever with the V there. You need to ban that person forever.
Oh,
Yes. So a funny joke. The last two places I've worked, both of them have people that work there have come up with that as my nickname. Like what
nice.
Yeah, I don't.
We don't really have the nutsack chin. You kind of, yeah. So
Maybe if I don't know. I don't know if I look down on people or something. I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
That's okay.
Well, they do realize by making fun of you, you actually in this position have the authority to get rid of half of them.
I'm about to
snap
The
them.
snap.
Since coming here, my current job, which I started on Halloween, I have not directly done it, but through my actions, half of the staff has left. So wait, did the Avengers do? Did Thanos do 50%?
50%.
50%.
Holy shit! Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
wrong.
That was what the snap is all about.
Yep. We got our own Thanos there.
To continue on what Matt was saying, I think their goal is once they have this online system, they're going to release only things that are valid within that system, that you can only view in that system, that you can't. It'd be like, some of these VTTs where stuff's already loaded in to help you. That's just going to only be. That's the only way you can look at. That's the only character sheet you're going to get is the one that's on their system. That's the only book you're going to get is the little blurbs that come up on their system. There's no blurb. There's no book to go with our video games. You just have to use the in-video game resources to learn about how to do things. So I think that's definitely the direction that they're headed. So in a way, you could think of it as they're exiting our hobby and creating their own alternate dimension. So now let's just let the market rule within our hobby. Whatever the market force, whoever sells the most, that's the person that you're going to look to for, who's actually got the merit.
Right.
Because they're ceding their position as the taste setter, as the trend setter. They're letting it go.
So how with the Black Flag, which seems to be the leading candidate as the 5e alternative.
Tales of the Valiant.
Tales of the Valiant. Yeah, Tales of the Valiant. How close to 5e do you think they're going to stick with that?
I'm going to guess that it'll be as close to 5e as 5e revised is going to be to 5e. I think that they're going to go in different directions, but I think that they're not going to go too far. They're going to go far enough. I don't think it's going to be as big a jump as Pathfinder was from 3.5, because they want to make they're trying to ensure that you have an open 5e system that's usable with all the prior 5e releases. And that's, especially for Kobold, that's their bread and butter. They want to keep that stuff evergreen.
I think Kobold are just fireflied themselves. Stupid name for a good thing.
Oh, well, yes.
Not Tales of the Valiant. That's just go back to Black Flag. I mean, it's a better name. It's got a little more gravitas to it and that. But Tales of the Valiant, I don't know. That just sounds cheesy to me. So I think they firefly.
Sounds like they're going to make a Prince Valiant RPG.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I see Black Flag and I think of, the old punk band, or, wasn't there a Black Flag like Exterminator bug spray? But I'm okay with that. I can go with that, But
You guys were old enough to have driven a Valiant, right?
I don't know if I remember that. But I mean, if we get back to the problem with, I think, Wizards, one of many and everything. So they're moving on to this new market. Okay, fine, perfect. The thing is they still have to create stuff, and they suck at that. We can all admit that Wizards hasn't done anything good. And the only reason why Wizards of the Coast products were successful in the past 5e stuff is because they really the really successful products that they had coming out were based on first edition products. I mean, all the ones that came out that I think that were most successful, like the Ravenloft stuff, the Secrets of Salt Marsh, and those, and then variants of different things. And of course,
Tales of the
Yawning
Yawning
Portal.
Portal. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so they really haven't been creative for, let's just face it, a very long time. And then when they did try to come up with some creative things or try to skew, and I don't care if you swing and miss. You know, sometimes you try to do something creative, try to do something, and it just doesn't work out. But sometimes the way they swing and miss is like they swung and miss, they knew it, they didn't care. You know, they just still put it out with all the stuff on it. And I think Wizards doesn't have the foresight to realize, okay, we're creating this new thing, but you're still going to have to create content that people are still interested in. It doesn't matter if you're the forerunner, you still got to keep it interesting. Because I mean, how many times does a video game come out, and I'm calling it a video game right now, but a video game come out and the interest fades within the next month because the next new video game comes out or the next shiny comes out. And I think if Wizard doesn't keep that creativity, not that I give a shit,
Right.
I mean, not that I care one way or another what the hell they do, but I mean, if I don't know, I guess sometimes I'm surprised by the simple things that I think that you shouldn't miss or something.
I think you're seeing what's happening as Wizards, what's happened at like Marvel and Disney. They were wildly successful. They got a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of ego going, and they just started pumping out garbage that nobody wanted. And now you're starting to see that kind of fail. Like what Marvel lost, how many billions of dollars, or Disney lost how many billions of dollars this year in revenue?
4 billion. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing the same thing. It's sort of you get into this lull of creativity because you don't have to work anymore. You've been successful. Everything you put out, regardless of what it is, Captain Marvel, it ends up making a shit ton of money. And they kind of forget that they still have to, like I think Eric said earlier, you still have to push the edge a little bit to remain, in the spotlight. You just can't float on your laurels forever.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, let's face it. Wizards doesn't have an in-house staff. With their last half dozen projects it's been outsourced to freelancers that they hire. So, basically, I guess they're more like Marvel. They're more like Marvel in that Marvel doesn't really does stuff in-house. Instead, you have Kevin Feige and the Marvel production staff hire directors who propose ideas, and Feige tries to keep a tight rein on creatively on what keep it within bounds, so they all work together creatively over the long haul. But if you mess up that job and hire the wrong people to do your films, then the result is not going to be satisfactory. And it looks like Wizards haven't had anybody even close to Kevin Feige's caliber at the height of his game for a long time.
I thought Wizards had moved away from the freelance thing. I thought they were trying to go back in-house.
Okay, so who's their Lawrence? Who are their in-house authors?
I don't know. I just thought I had heard somewhere that they were moving towards that sort of a style of business. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't follow it like you guys do, so I'm probably wrong.
You probably are. No. I have no idea. I mean, but if you look at, I haven't done it. I'm sure Rob can do it in like 10 seconds or even shorter. But like, what's the name of the creative director of Wizards right now?
Chris Perkins or Jeremy Crawford?
Are they the creative directors? I thought that was who's the talking head? Wasn't it that Brink kid? Dude?
Oh no, Kyle is there. He's there. I think Kyle's in charge of the revision team, maybe.
You mean the revision team?
Okay. Yeah.
See, what Wizards has is they have a core of white guys, and then they have all the work done by people who have color. Oh wait, no, that didn't come out right. That's exactly what these races are doing. They have a core in their company of people who are making all the decisions, and they're outsourcing everything. And then they want to make that sound awesome by claiming, "Hey, we're having all the work being done by people we're paying like Uber drivers, and
Right.
then we're going to keep all the money." That's it. Their very basic business model is it's self-exploitative. It's terrible. Step aside, let other companies, whatever the crimes of Paizo are, they're definitely not doing that.
Oh gosh, no.
So I'd get these assholes out of the way.
Yeah, I mean,
Eric, do you want to answer that question about the Hadazee that went by?
Yeah, I answered it in the chat, but
okay.
Steve Winter, who Steve is the one that created the was it the Yadzine or whatever, the Star Frontiers,
Right.
which is where the Hadazee were initially. He created the race in Star Frontiers, and I guess even helped, I guess, transfer it to Spelljammer.
Right.
It was the slavery aspect wasn't added, I believe, in 2003 by some, I don't know, undetermined individual in some group product that added the slavery aspect. So just like Wizards of the Coast has this habit of instinctively going, "Oh, offensive material. This was done before us." And anything that is done before us could be potentially upsetting to somebody. But reality is, when they started making those statements back in 2020, the year when we all rebooted our calendars, right? When they made that statement in the middle of 2020, what they're effectively saying is that anything that was published prior to that statement could be offensive to somebody. But going forward, they're going to damn well make sure that nothing was going to be offensive to anybody until they started publishing stuff that was offensive to people again. Because when you're bereft of any amount of creation within you, when all you can do is go back and recreate and mine old resources, we're seeing that today in on the TV, right? I mean, The Equalizer, Hawaii 5-0.
God, Equalizer was horrible.
School's out,
the new one, not the old one.
Look out, Matt! The changing the guards. You better get back into play.
Yeah, I do have to go, guys, because I got to make sure they're working. I got to get all the. I got to start cracking my whip since we're talking about slavery.
Just walk around with your fingers posed.
Spicy.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Yeah, see
you. Good, thank you.
Now, as far as the Hadazee goes, I, in my opinion, their response should have been, "So what?" Who cares if somebody wrote that this is in the backstory of this race?
Right.
I mean,
I know. I don't get how.
And the thing is, they made this huge announcement. This was done by an individual or individuals in a prior time that was problematic, and it happened before any of the current management team was in place. Oh, it's actually before any Woods of the Coast people.
In the halcyon days of 2003, back before people were born.
When this was still owned by DSR, back in those days, you know how evil they are.
Well, they still think DSR is a 4-letter word.
Wow.
I just wish they, because if they would just look at their track record, I would like to see them do well, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't mind to see them blow up in a glorious explosion at the same time, so.
And that's what's said, but at the same time, let's be honest, Wizards of the Coast has done a great job of separating themselves as best they can from the rest of the tabletop RPG hobby. I'm not trying to defend people get offended. Why do you have to say tabletop RPG hobby? Because Wizards of the Coast is separating themselves from the tabletop RPG hobby. They want to be the virtual tabletop RPG hobby. Come to us, pay your subscription. Look at the amazing I don't know, terrain that you can't touch. But just look at it, and don't worry about the gaming content that we can't create. We're going to give you stuff that has no um, ability for the DM to be creative. We're just going to give you, walls and special effects. But you want an actual adventure that's going to be interesting to play and hold your play. Hold on, we got to fund that out to like third parties because we're bereft of any kind of talent in that area, and that's where the talent is. In people like the people on your screen right now, with myself excluded, I really don't do adventures. But you've got people that are creative like that. You got people like Kelsey that's creative.
Right.
You got Gavin that's doing the OSC stuff. You got Matt. You got all these people that in the OSR you can just go around and start naming names and going creative, 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 creative. And even people who are fans of 5e, you ask them like, "Who's your favorite 5e creator?" They'll name people from DM's Guild.
Right. Absolutely.
And they'll go, "Oh yeah, I love this person. I love this person. Oh, Alex Kammer has some cool stuff." Yeah, but they're not going to name you. Oh, well, the person that wrote that faux Starbucks adventure. I really, who was it? Part of that creative team, man. It was so cool. And
according to Wikipedia, it was written by the Wizards RPG design team.
So they always say that.
See now, when I was younger, back in the day before the gray hairs, and I was buying RPG material, I would look and go, Aaron Alston, holy shit, this is gonna be good. I know Graham Davis, holy fuck, it's gonna be a crazy adventure. Whatever Graham wrote is gonna be spot on and awesome. Oh, look, it's one of the it is. Gary Gygax, he wrote the game. We didn't have the internet, right? But we recognized the names, and you got to recognize the quality of certain individuals. Mm-hmm. When you got shit that was written by a team, you got Castle Greyhawk with the fucking gummy bears and other assorted nonsense shit like that, written by a team,
right?
Because nobody wants to put their name on it. Okay,
well, it might be that we're moving into kind of the same situation that's in regular publishing. I know that analogy doesn't spring up to us a lot, but in regular publishing right now, the people who are actually really good writers have figured out that they make a lot more money by self-publishing it. Yep. So they've started their own self-publishing, and and the same thing's actually happening in stand-up comedy. A huge number of stand-up comedy guys, are starting to run their own shows using the money that they made from before, so that they get all the profit, because all they're creating is a video that they can then sell to whoever. So the changes in production capability have made it so that the creator can harvest much larger percentage of their work output profit-wise than they would have been able to in the past. The same thing's happened in music. The record labels are basically destroyed at this point by a lot of the changes in music. The big publishing houses in traditional publishing are being decimated by online book sales. So I think maybe it's just the same thing. All the people who actually have talent have said, "Hey, I'm just going to write it myself and get 100% of the profit rather than giving you 80% to put the stuff out there." And so there's nobody who's good who wants to work for them.
Well, and that could be, I guess, part of the problem. I mean, like when we hear things about 5e creators, right? We hear things that oh well, they were abused. Okay, they were abused. Right? They were abused. How were they abused? Well, they were treated meanly. Listen, I had supervisors and bosses that treated me like shit because they treated everybody like shit. That's part of being in the real world. I think that on some level, and here's one of the issues, is that the creative team or the repeated creative team of 5e creators that Wizards of the Coast hires is not people of our generation or even people in a generation that are 10, 15 years younger than us. They're getting people in their 20s who have not been out in the real world, went to college, where college for many people is about safe spaces and not hearing differing thoughts and differing opinions. So when your supervisor, when your manager tells you, "Hey, listen, this is a really stupid idea for an adventure. Why don't you try this?" I'm offended. You're saying that because whatever category I'm going to put myself in, as opposed to what, you don't think that something about characters working at a fictional Starbucks is an exciting adventure? But that was my life. Before I started writing games, I was working at Starbucks making lattes and grandes and making sure I didn't put too much syrup in somebody's cup because it could affect the profit margin. That's what they know, so that's what they're bringing over. And then you get people who are self-motivated. Like, again, I'm going to pull up the result. Kelsey with ShadowDark, she had a great career writing 5e material under the DM's Guild. And remember, DM's Guild, Rob will tell you, it's one of the community programs. By the way, they added another one, Rob. I don't know if you saw this, Shadowrun. There's the community programs over at Drive-Thru where pretty much you're giving 50% of whatever you're selling something at. So if you're selling it for $10, you get 5, and then Drive-Thru and the licensor gets to split the other $5. All right, and that's great if you're the licensor. That is easy money, letting people use your intellectual property. Holy shit, what's wrong with that? But as Kelsey saw it, it's better to go out and create your own.
I think she proved that point.
So you look at people like that now.
$1 million.
$1.35 million. So now you look at stuff like that. You look at people like Matt Finch. Matt Finch is a great game designer, but he's also a great adventure designer. And Matt could write an adventure that would be amazing if he published it under 5e. And
congratulations to Matt. Went over $100,000 today or something like that.
Oh, excellent. Good job. Good for him.
Yeah.
So now Matt's adventures are solid. They are not just usable, but they're internally consistent. And you got stuff going on with them. And you could take a Matt adventure and translate it to 5e, and you'd have an amazing product. So why Wizards of the Coast, you would think they would want to poach the adventure creators in the OSR, in the third parties for 5e publishing or Pathfinder publishing, because no matter what the system is, it doesn't change how game design works for your adventures. Maybe the balancing does, but the basic idea of designing an adventure doesn't change. But instead, they're looking to hire, and no offense to anybody who works at Wizards of the Coast, I'm not pointing fingers at you personally, but they're looking to hire pretty much unknown individuals that they can probably work on the cheap. We know that these big companies don't pay much, because we heard about Paizo. We heard about Paizo creators that were on staff that had to pick up freelance work just to make rent. And I'm not talking about making rent on a one-bedroom apartment. I'm talking about having 2 to 3 roommates who also worked at Paizo, making your share of the rent for a shared apartment just to make ends meet. And that's the reason why they unionized. So the only reason you're not seeing something like that, I think, at WotC is WotC has big daddy Hasbro, who will probably shut down whole divisions if somebody came in and really tried to unionize. And like, we're losing too much money on the D&D. Because listen, if you're in corporate, you can balance a book any direction you want if you're that size, and you can show a loss or a gain for Wizards, and or for D&D in particular. We spent so much this year on all these expenses.
Son of a gun.
What?
What, Rob?
I just look at the license for Holodeck, and of course, I guess OBS was blowing sunshine up my ass, because there's the boilerplate, no derivatives.
For Shadowrun?
Yep.
Well, isn't that the boilerplate of most everything?
Yes, but they explicitly told me that, and I even cropped it out of Roll20, or not out of Roll20, out of Discord, where they say they're going to change the boilerplate.
It's almost like these people are untrustworthy.
Wow.
That's all right. I'll just give them hell, see what happens.
You give him hell, Rob.
Well, you know what probably happened, Rob? Let's be honest. It probably was along the lines of, yeah, this is our intention. Oh wait, Tops can't. We showed it to Tops, and Tops lawyers are like, no derivatives. And that's granddaddy.
Why were you going to write something for it or something, Rob?
No, for me, it's a general principle. I know. What's that company that does the 2D20? I feel bad.
Modifius.
Modifius, yeah.
I got them to change the license.
Well, you strap on your superhero cape and you get to work, Rob.
I mean,
getting them.
Now the Genesis people mostly did it themselves, but I threw my voice in there, and they told me that it helped one of the people involved. But I pointed it out. But again, it was the height of the controversy over the OGL, so they were probably sensitive to any IP criticism. So we'll see how it flies.
Rob, maybe Wizards of the Coast cast a feeble mind spell on them.
I don't know. No,
that was too edgy. I know. Edgy.
Compose my response and just bring out the shotgun tomorrow. And
well, don't say that, Rob.
Live.
The literary shotgun.
Here you go. The alleged one, huh? Yeah, the alleged.
It's cool. It's got a book. It says shotgun on it.
Yeah.
Is that a demented lawyer I see?
I believe it is.
I am sorry, guys. I'm running late. I had a lot of shit going on, but God, Connecticut is hotter than Satan's ballsack right now. But I was trying to pay attention to what was going on here. It sounds
did you missed your opportunity to mess with Jackson?
I was listening and I was trying to get everything done fast because I had you guys on the phone. But Matt with his attention span can't even join a goddamn conversation more than 15 minutes. So I couldn't get here in time. Yeah, it was terrible. And then they were all into the conversation, and I was here just in time to see Rob derail Eric's point while he was in the middle of making it with something. And so here I'm caught up, and you're railing against woke people who have no creativity. If I pretty much summarize the last half hour.
But actually, woke has nothing to do with it.
It's just lack of creativity.
Lack of creativity.
Yeah.
Because they're so worried about pushing any envelope. You can't be creative if you don't take risks. That's part of
you got to be edgy.
Creative.
You got to have some edginess to you.
It doesn't have to be a huge amount of edginess.
You don't have to go as far as Raji did with some of those book titles.
Well, you have to go as far as Raji did, laying himself out naked. I like the man, but
I got the picture. You want to see that again?
No,
no.
It's burned into my head.
No,
him running naked in the
God, yeah, I saw Raji's bare ass in that video. That was more than. I mean, but you got to admit, like, there's certain people who are in the OSR pretty damn creative, and they are edgy. I mean, Raji, Zach, you like him or hate him, he's freaking creative as shit, and he crosses the boundary. He's edgy. Right, a lot of people do that sort of stuff. I don't know about Venger, but I don't know if it's faux edgy or real edgy, but he can put shit out there too that sort of breaks some taboos.
But
right?
Even the edgy stuff, the edgy stuff just becomes bullshit really quick.
Yeah, they become an edgelord.
I mean, you were talking about, like, take the adventure you were talking about with the Starbucks adventure. People kind of give them shit for. I don't have a problem with that because I really like taking very mundane things, as Joe can attest.
Yeah.
And trying to make and use my creativity during the time to make that an interesting thing. And even though it might be just like Joe ran, I mean, he basically was a ditch digger for a year.
And a garbage picker. I was like Sanford and Son.
Yeah, he was. But I mean, I tried to add a lot of nuances to it to make it more interesting. Have the relationships. Have there's different groups. You might be just he was a scrapper. He's picked up scrap to earn some extra money to do his stuff. but he was competing against people. You know, he had to compete with, you know, he'd be on time, and then there was like, you know, he didn't really fight except one time, and that was
once, and that was I was in an alley, and I could only fit in, and my pursuer couldn't, and he was reaching to get at me, and I was like, "Fuck you!" and I stabbed him in the hand with my dagger. That was the only fight I had in 3 levels, you know. And then I get running.
I don't know if you remember this, Tim, but back we had it when our last GURPS campaign. There was a session where Dan, you guys were in town. You just came in from doing a patrol. You were mercenaries, and you were like in the shopping mode. And so I was doing the round robin thing. What do you do?
I was in a shopping mode. I don't now. See, I don't believe you at all now.
You're talking about me?
I don't know. The whole
go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry. Yeah,
the group was, but
yeah.
So I got to Dan, and I wrote a random encounter for it. It was a drunk guy, and all of a sudden, the whole session morphed about Dan trying to find out what's the deal with this drunk guy, and then Dan trying to take him to the temple. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of mileage to get out of seemingly.
And then your campaign you ran, Rob, but GURPS. It's another also a GURPS campaign where basically I was a blacksmith the entire campaign. Remember, I was. And we didn't. There wasn't a lot of battle, so I think. I mean, while it's Starbucks and it's more like on trend kind of thing, but I mean, the kids these days would I think enjoy that because they can kind of relate to it. But you have to make it interesting, and I think that's where they fail. Of course, you can take something as mundane or just as goofy as being a barista or whatever, but you gotta make it interesting somehow.
It can't be that you miscounted the change.
They didn't make interesting people who had interesting situations. They didn't have interesting enough people in interesting enough situation to make the barista and the whole.
I got to have some racist dwarfs come in and kick over tables and start a fight, and then it could have turned into a funnel where all of the level 0 characters try to overcome the racist dwarves, and then pop, 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 pop. You know, okay, you only got 3 guys that made it out. Bam, there's your party for adventuring.
I got a 2-part theory as to why they can't create a goddamn thing these days. Number one, first part is that they don't read. They don't read the classics. They don't read books. They don't read novels. They don't read fiction. And so all that they do is consume TV, movies, things like that. And they use that as a basis to copy something. They don't understand, because they never read the Odyssey or the Iliad or any of the other classics. They don't understand what makes the movie great is because it drew upon those sort of classic archetypes and themes and stories that are just passed down through all the generation after generation in every culture across the world, right? Because they don't know what the underpinnings of that movie were, like Star Wars. They don't know what the hero's journey is. They only mimic, and they miss the most important points of it. Number two, they have no real life experiences because they've been coddled. The only thing they could relate to is their own boring ass, stupid, boring life. Stupid and boring. Did I say that enough? That's it. And so they don't have any real experiences because they've been coddled, helicopter parented, and have never, like Eric was saying before, never had a real freaking job where the boss was a complete asshole. Every boss is always a complete asshole. That's the nature of life. That's like the job requirement for boss for the most part. Asshole, right on top, right?
Isn't Matt Jackson a boss?
And he fired half the people. He pulled the Thanos. I heard that too. Right. You know, so yeah, this is it. So they have no real life experiences, nor did they have any background in literature, the classics, or anything like that. They couldn't.
But they've read Harry Potter.
Well, they read Harry Potter, exactly, and they saw the movie. If they didn't read Harry Potter, they saw the movie and they think that's good enough. But they don't know what underpins all of that to make it great, and so they can't make anything great. They can only copy because they have lack of imagination.
Now I'm getting confused, Joe. I mean, you're bitching about the younger generation here, but But how does this tie back to Wizard of the Coast?
That's all they hire is these young morons. That's like you were saying before. They hire these 25-year-olds with no real life experiences who don't have any knowledge.
Well, do we know they're 25-year-olds though?
Basically, I mean, look at all the cast and crew.
So the answer is no, though. Then.
Oh yeah, basically.
You know, I'm gonna disagree. Of course, I'm gonna disagree with you guys, but that's not the root of the problem. Isn't sure it. A part of the problem is who they hire, because obviously we see the results of that work. But the problem is they're a dinosaur, and they're a dying breed. It doesn't matter because how many creative people do you know, Eric, that you consider that made something worthy? How many do you know, Tim? And when you add all those up, who all of us know, that is a large number. There is just no way that a single organization or a single company like Wizards can compete against that in a truly fair market. They just can't.
Rob,
But-
it's not a fair market. They have monopoly power virtually. It's not.
No,
They should be able to
don't.
dominate.
That's the thing. They don't have thanks to the WotC of 2000 and Ryan Dancy. It people are free if they can't work with the current edition directly, then they'll do what Kelsey did: make a system that's fun, interesting, kind of related to 5e. And yes, Greg, it's freaking part of the OSR. Okay, and so
Rob, what they should have done, Rob, is go to Drive Through RPG, find the top 10 bestsellers, look who created them, and hire those people. That's what they should have done.
But that makes sense, Joe.
Those people won't work for
ever known
Overdrive or
WotC to make sense?
No, they don't make sense. I know that's the most common sense, easy thing to do.
Greg's right. They're not going to work for low wages, and we know that the big companies pay low wages. Now,
well, no, Eric. It's not just low wages. We're not going to work for the lack of creative control that we enjoy in our own stuff.
Listen. Look at Goodman Games. Okay, Goodman Games puts out a lot of modules, a lot of settings, right? And this is all owned by Goodman Games. And there's a lot of names there that you're gonna see that from the community that you
Michael Curtis, Dungeon Alphabet, right? Yeah.
You look at these people and you go, they are creative. They can do the work, and they're doing the work for Goodman because Goodman obviously pays well enough and probably gives them enough leeway in their creativity. But it's owned by Goodman. Wizards of the Coast could certainly pay these people more if they had any desire to do so. They are just as happy to pay less to put out shitty product that the masses will still buy because it's Dungeons and Dragons on it, not just 5e compatible. Not the generic.
That's what's changing.
And that's what's
we're having this conversation because it's changing.
And that's what scares them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're willing to give up the tabletop RPG marketplace. They're willing to step back from the tabletop marketplace and put all their money in a digital marketplace, or 90% of it. They're going in deep on the digital because digital to them means subscriptions. And I can almost guarantee you that even the adventures that are going to be published for D&D Regurgitated, the adventures are going to include sections that are going to include new rules for PCs and new races and all this other stuff, because they're going to want your players in your group to buy the product, even if it means that everybody owns it when you run it. Just pinky swear that you're not going to read the relevant adventure before I run it, okay? But you should all buy it because you might want to get a new PC class that's only in, Azov's Guide to Assholes or whatever it is.
Well, they won't be half assholes though, because that would be racist.
No, you can't.
Yes.
Right. So are they going to get rid of halflings then, since they're half? It's in the name.
Yeah, they're going to be full wings. They're going to be height challenge full wings.
So I guess that's part of the whole WotC thing that just makes me just cringe too. Is like they seem to focus on that instead of improving stuff. It's like they're finding idiocy, and they're digging for stuff to find something stupid that they can focus on. It's like, we've been an idiot about orcs and that, so it's been a while since we've made a change that makes that completely no sense. So let's make all half races racist it's baffling. No, it just reminds me.
It's ego, Tim. I don't know who is the creative force behind the current set of rule, whether it's Crawford or Perkins, but I've seen this in the OSR so many times that somebody has their own specific take of their rule book, and they just can't hear that it could be not somebody's cup of tea, or that it actually has a flaw in it. it may have good. It doesn't matter if it has other good points. All they hear is the person criticizing just one of the things, and they just go, "It's all perfect. That's it." And that's the sense I'm getting out of Wizard. That the lead designers are too invested in, how they view systems, rules, how to role play, and they can't think that there's other ways, and that they should incorporate other ways.
I think that the issue is similar to the issue in society at large. Dare I say this? It's white men. I'm going to say it. White men that are arrogant enough to believe that they know better than everyone else out in the world, male, every other race, but they know, and we're going to make decisions because we know what's right for you. So we're going to make that decision for you. No more half races, because that obviously it offends you, right? Well, you didn't tell me it offended you, but I'm going to tell you it offends you because I know better, and that's why when Kyle Brink said that he can't wait to see white men out of positions of authority at Wizards of the Coast, will put his context in the right context. It wasn't just out of the game. In positions of authority. Okay. When he said that, what he was really saying is, I can't wait to be out of a position where I have to keep on making decisions for the rest of you. I can't wait to allow the people that I feel I need to make decisions for. I can't wait to give up that responsibility. But in the meantime, it's my responsibility to make decisions for the rest of you because I know what's right. And that's arrogance. That is pure, unadulterated arrogance.
And you wonder why I advocate open content so much. The solution isn't putting the right people in position. The solution is to take the toys away. The solution is to put everybody on the same playing field so nobody has the power to coerce another person into mucking up their creative vision.
That's not the way the world works, though, Rob. They got the money, they got the power. They're going to do this. I mean, that's not the way. In utopian society, fa-di-da.
We have maybe not how the world works, but we got a tool to create that world, the ideal world that we want, and that is in form of viral license. We just have to create compelling content that people want to do more than whatever crap they're putting out, and if we make it viral and get it and not just viral, that's the club, but also add the carrot, like it's exciting, look what you can do, you can mash this, mish that, and okay, you don't really want to focus on making systems, you just want to do adventure, that's fine, you got this, and this, you can just focus on doing adventures. Or like Tim, you just want to make NPC cards, you want to have 100 of them in your library to offer to people, fine, if that's your jam, you don't have to. So this way, by that's one. I mean, I like the orc license in that it is a semi-viral license. You still got that product identity, but the old OGL had a thing where you couldn't claim compatibility with a trademark. Well, they got rid of that, but they replaced it with something that I found far more interesting, is that you can't say that game mechanics can be copyrighted. Because when you agree to the orc license, use content in orc license, it explicitly says you agree that you cannot copyright game mechanics.
Here's the thing with the orc license. From what I know, I read it so briefly, and then I watched that role of law guy, that the gray haired dude. I could tell. I mean, you never know who the hell's a lawyer, right? I'm a lawyer. I don't practice, so don't ask me a goddamn legal thing. But this guy, by the way he talks, I know that he's a lawyer and he actually knows his shit. He's not pulling stuff out of his ass. He did a review on it for about an hour and a half, and he got deep, and it was like the thing is complicated as shit. But because there's no SRD in the back, right, that references a particular thing. And what they have in there is enough language to draw in essentially that if I make up a warlock class for 20 spells, right, and I put it out in a publication, I sell it for $5, because it's all covered under the orc license, somebody could copy that, copy paste, sell it for $4. Then somebody wants to make more money, they do the same thing and sell it for $3. Next thing you know, you're screwed.
Joe, you know what? It happens under the OGL.
Does anybody do it under the OGL?
Yes.
Yeah.
You did not know this. All right. So
I didn't know this.
I'm going to give you a little history lesson.
And
for me, it was very important because at the time, I had become good friends with James Bond, Barrel Rider Games. And James at the time was writing a lot of Labyrinth Lord material. He was doing classes. He was doing races. He was doing a lot. It was a lot of
good stuff. Yeah.
I'm the one they sent him my spare copy of Swords and Witchery Complete and turned him into a Swords and Witchery person. But in the meantime, he was doing a lot of Labyrinth Lord stuff. And this jackass came on and started grabbing all James was good. He was doing the right thing. He was making it all open content. And what happened is somebody decided to word for word republish his own stuff on, on drive-through.
Wow.
So what happened is James didn't even notice it at first.
Some big
People
balls.
like me and a few others did. Let James know. We all wrote to drive through, and within like 2 days, this guy's account was canceled. You had to be proactive. But there's nothing. The OGL. If you make everything open content, like I did with Swords of Wizardry Continual Light, I made it 100% open content. So what happened is there's a guy out there. I forget his name. He writes these D20 light systems, like all these like D20 stuff. That's usually based on these 3 SRD, and he, it's a very stripped down 3rd edition system. Well, he happened to like Swords of Wizardry Continual Light, and he made a version that he didn't call Continual Light. He didn't reference Swords of Wizardry, didn't mention me at all except in his OGL reference. So there was no thank you for inspiration, whatever. Republished it at like, I don't know, $5 a pop. And people who later found Swords of Wizardry Continual Light were complaining that I ripped this guy off. Okay? Because it's similar. And it's just so similar. Well, yeah, and that's part of the viralness of the open game license.
But didn't you have to make that open game content for him to be able to do that, Eric? I mean,
I made everything open game content.
But that's what I'm saying. You have to do that. I think in the Cobalt license, everything is by default open, right? They named
open game license is open by default. You have to lock it down. So there are companies that are, and I'm not going to name names, but are generally fucking assholes when it comes to putting their stuff, because the open game license in theory works like, hey, I'm taking from the open game and I'm going to put content back into the open game, and maybe I'll say, all right, proper names, names of my classes, or no, you're going to see a list of product identity that is longer than the rest of the license, as they're locking everything down, so basically nothing comes back.
But in Cobalt, I don't think you could do that, because it's part of the license that if you have anything resembling skills,
you can still lock down some stuff in the Cobalt license,
but less than the OGL, right?
I don't know. I got to look at it closer. But here's the thing: Creative Commons, CY04, the one that Wizards of the Coast
Wizards use,
we put it on the Creative Commons so we can't fuck you over, right? Don't you? Why would you use the OGL? Right. Well, Rob told you why you use the OGL. The OGL is viral. The OGL keeps this as a vibrant community. The Creative Commons, by default, locks it down. You can't make derivative works unless you open it.
Well, to be clear, that's Creative Commons BY, which
is what they shared under. Like, they don't want you by default. You can open it up. I am not a contract lawyer. I'm not a contract specialist. The Creative Commons stuff makes my head turn, but I know that ORC by its intent is viral. OGL by its intent is viral, though you can step around it.
Yes, that's what I was getting at. Is ORC everything in the ORC? If like there are so many terms in the ORC license that if I put out a Warlock class, by definition, if I put it out under ORC, anybody can steal it.
Yes,
you can't lock that shit down.
Intention. But here's the thing, Joe. If people are not you have to make something good in order to thrive as a publisher, or even if you're doing it for free and just share it. It has to be good, and people. So yes, people can copy it. But here's the thing: in this day and age, people are far more aware of the guy who wrote the product, of the person who wrote the product in the first place. So when it comes to stuff, the ShadowDark, if she opens it up completely, it doesn't matter if anybody else takes it and republish it. People are going to be looking for ShadowDark material about Kelsey because they know she's the original author. And they know, and she does good work to begin with. So I would find it hard to believe that a guy who would shitty enough to just outright copy it and just do a copy and paste and put it out there has enough talent to compete with Kelsey's at the top of her game, or any of us for that matter. So I put just about everything I do that is original as 100% open content. And then my response will be, if somebody goes off and publish Black Marsh and tries it to claim it's theirs and stuff, I'll just do a better version of whatever they're trying to do and just hammer them that way. And of course, I'll make fun of them all over the place.
Or it could be that they say, Rob, you stole it, just like Eric, right? So you don't know. Who does the research?
But here's the thing: this is the internet. We have proof. We have proof 6 ways to Sunday about when we publish various items.
Because the internet is a great source of truth and knowledge.
I was going to say that might not be a good thing.
Yeah, but you know, it's a mixed bag. Like everything's a mixed bag. But on this particular issue, we can go to drive-through and we can see when the public product was first put up, and we can say, hey, look, it was put up in 2011.
Do you think that the drive-through is going to last? I mean, I know they combine with Roll20 and whatnot, but can Wizards pull the license for all that crap? Can they close down DM's Guild? Right? I mean, what's going to happen there?
Yeah.
Right. So then what? Then you don't have drive-through
because
anymore.
as far as they're concerned, they own all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the interesting thing with drive-through. All right, drive-through is really Roll20. Okay, they're the same company. If you get an email from them, and now it says Roll20. So, I mean, Roll20 is the biggest competitor.
A direct competitor, exactly.
Of Wizards of the Coast when it comes to VTTs. And Wizards of the Coast has already said they want to turn their in-house VTT and what is it? D&D Beyond into its own market for third-party publishers, for creatives. So they want to turn it into its own DM's Guild. So that being said, do I expect the DM's Guild to survive 2024? Personally, no. And for anybody who's been watching this channel for a while, these are all things that I predicted once they announced the new edition of D&D, which is no longer a new edition of D&D. But why would you, if you're positioning yourself with the new edition to lock down the VTT, and they might leave the license, they might have licenses that are open for another couple of years. Who knows how long the license will be with Foundry and Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds? But do you think they're going to renew it? Do you think that they're going to renew?
It's not in any of their interest to do that.
Now, that does it make a difference if they don't renew it if you've already bought the license? No, you can still play it on Roll20, but you're not going to be able to play 5e revised forever. Because
that's the thing. Once they come out with it, it's going to be changing daily. Or if the new whatever platform they call it, 1D&D online, right? Mm-hmm. If they start rolling out, let's say the first time they roll it out, they're going to have a core system in there, all right, and they're going to have a player's handbook that comes out. Now they're going to do, since it's like an MMO, basically a turn-based MMO, they're going to have updates every month, every couple of months, every quarter, whatever they do, right? The rule books will never be updated as fast as the online version, because it doesn't make any economic sense. You got to sell it all the rule books, and when you're all sold out, then you update it with whatever the latest 12 revisions that you already had online, right? And so you're gonna have a basic incompatibility on a basic level between book people and online people. Online are gonna have the latest, greatest toys and bells and whistles, and the book people are gonna be lagging behind unless they get the PDF online, download it, and blah blah blah. Right? That's just gonna be a shit show. Then you got a 3-ring binder, an addition to your freaking player's handbook. Right? They're never gonna be able to keep up with that shit.
Well, no, that's why you're gonna have to play with
It's gonna be just like World of Warcraft.
No, but
I don't know.
You guys are looking at it from the opposite direction of what it will be. What it will be is, Joe, they will be leaving all of those customers behind.
Yeah.
And those customers will be playing they're not going to, they're going to buy the book. They're going to play it the way according that it is in the book.
Right.
And then when they go and they go look at, I really don't want a book that makes all these changes. Then they go, okay, I'll buy this other book. Yeah. They're just creating, like I said on Wednesday night. You didn't listen because you're, dumb. I don't know.
Oh, but yeah, I'm being entertained.
They're gonna just keep competing with themselves like idiots until there's nothing.
Yeah.
They keep slicing the pie and handing pie pieces to other people. Hey, Pathfinder, would you like a slice? Oh, would you guys like a slice?
What was the term you kept using, Greg? I can't remember it. Stepping on their own dick or something like that?
Stepping on their own dick. They just keep stepping on their own dick. And pretty soon, all the pieces of pie are going to be held by other people, and they're going to be left with a little tiny slice, and they're going to go, what happened?
Yeah, after 350 programmers and how many tens of millions of dollars invested in this online platform, these people are screwed when nobody signs up. Because I mean, look at the demo PCs. All these laptops are what, $3,000 or $4,000 Alienware laptops to run this goddamn thing. Come on, we're not going to be doing that. Most people they're going to be used to playing D&D with their tablet or something like that at the table. Now you got to get online and do this bullshit. No, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. It's going to be a complete and colossal failure on the scope of the Marvels lately and the Star Wars stuff. It's going to be that level of fail.
Yeah, don't put your money in Wizards of the Coast stock, folks.
Oh God, no!
Don't invest in Hasbro.
We are not stock advisors nor financial analysts. Do your own. What are all the disclaimers we got to say here?
Do your own research.
Based on current dating trends, it is my recommendation you put all your money in cat food and boxed wine.
Fucking boxed wine.
Boxed wine always has a market, and it fits very well on the shelf.
We got our generation. Well, you know, I mean, I'm a little bit behind you guys, but not that much. But our generation actually formed relationships with people. The generations behind us are going to all be single and lonely in their old age. Box wine and cat food is the way to go.
You know, a good box of wine though, that'll help you form relationships and bonds with people. You just got to share it around. That's all.
I was going to say, usually when you have a box of wine, you usually kind of
that's a party.
Yeah, you will. Walk around with it on the street. You got,
well, that's what it is.
Actually, we did that. Old boom box and just make friends.
No, we did that. My brother, he has like 4 kids, and when they, triplets and an older one, and so we're running around trying to like herding cats at Halloween, right? So I'm up there trying to help contain the chaos, right? And all the other kids are running around the streets, and me and my brother, my sister-in-law, then all the neighbors come out with their kids and this and that. And it's like a hectic thing trying to make sure they don't run into traffic. So we all started getting intoxicated before and during the walk, right? And then I forget who came up with this idea, but they had one of those red wagons, and in the red wagon they had 2 boxes of wine on tap. So all the parents were up walking up and down the street, hitting that, and some of us were passing around a bowl or whatever. Not me, of course. But it was just like it was just a party. Well, Halloween was a great time after a while. You forgot all about the kids.
They ran into the don't get hit by the cars.
Yeah, but we
give me a Reese cup.
We bonded over
the razor blades in it. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Are you missing any? I don't know.
Ed, Mike, listen. Because honestly, they would do better labeling like 6E or 5.5 or whatever. I'm going to repeat what I've been saying this again forever. They were not going to change the core system. 5E is their golden goose, and they've already seen what happened when they went from 3E and tried to get rid of the OGL the first time by going to 4E, which was so different, was totally incompatible. People were going, this isn't even D&D. All right? And they went back to 5E because it was like 3E just done better. Yeah. All right? And they brought back the OGL. And then again, what did they realize? They realized, oh, shit, the OGL again. The OGL. What are we doing with this OGL? We can cancel it.
Yeah, no, we can't. Authorize it. Deauthorize.
We can cancel it, boss. I read it. We can cancel it. Yep. And they tried to cancel it, and they fucking stepped on their dick, and proved that they couldn't fucking cancel it. Yep. So
maybe it was Wesley Snipes' lawyer that told them it was okay to cancel it.
So. His tax advisor.
The tax man doesn't exist. Don't worry about it. But
it's all fraud.
There's a lot of people who file taxes. They'll never pay attention.
They saw.
I don't know. Wait a minute. Let me address Bad Mike here. I mean, they slapped a bunch of new covers on the AD&D 1E books, and we all bought them.
Yeah,
that's because we're nostalgia bait, Rob.
They did that with 2.
No, back in the day, Joe.
No, they did that.
Oh, that. Yeah.
I did not buy them all, Rob.
No,
I didn't buy them.
If I recall.
No, I don't.
I didn't realize.
I did buy the new A series because it had an extra adventure in there that kind of tied it in. So I did. I thought the cover was cool.
Yeah, nothing was tied in on the A series. But don't forget this other thing, guys. I don't even remember. Like, let's say the Temple of Elemental Evil CCRPG game that was out 15, 20 years ago, right? Or even look at D&D Online, right? They're both using the 3.5 mechanic. Now, Wizards of the Coast has to keep the 5e core system. They could tinker around the edges, but think about this. You're not going to replace Temple of Elemental Evil Online nor DDO with 5e. The cost involved, everything underpinning that thing.
That has nothing to do with it. The reason why they're not going to do it is because they saw it happen when they took a successful system that they felt they lost control over 3.5, and third-party publishers were making too much money off it. Went to 4.0 with the idea of we're going to bring all that money in. Fucked themselves over doing it.
Pathfinder.
Right? Really, they created their own worst enemy, literally. Yeah. And then with 5e, the cycle started again, and they're looking at 5e, and they're going, "Oh, look at Kickstarter! Holy shit! Look at these people making money on Kickstarter. That should be our money. What the fuck?" Yeah. And that's why we saw, that was really not supposed to be released to the public. It wasn't a real OGL. It was just a temporary placeholder. No, this was their plan. But their plan was because they never really wanted to change D&D. 5e is the core system that they can't really improve on much. They're going to tweak it. Yeah. But they know if they make old content totally incompatible, they are going to create Black Flag / Tales of the Valiant / please find a better fucking name for this game that's going to be.
God, what a stupid ass name. I heard you guys talk about that before. Yeah, that's the dumbest fucking name I ever. Come on.
So you agree with they fireflied themselves?
Yeah, that was perfect. Yeah.
Because stupid name for a good thing.
I got in a discussion back when AIM, remember that messaging system was online?
Remember online instant messenger?
Yeah. But Eric Mona had an AIM address in his some email thing, SIG, whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna message Eric Mona and tell him the name Pathfinder is stupid. So I did. He disagreed, and out comes the name Pathfinder. I said, Eric, why? Why are you doing this name? I mean, I know it's the modules that they're all railroads, basically. That's why it's an adventure path. That's a fucking railroad. That's why they all suck. And you might scrounge a good map from whatever. But Pathfinder is a name. Just come on, it's not that much market, and not for an RPG. It doesn't have as much market presence, and he disagreed, and there you go. You got Pathfinder.
At least that one you understand where it came from, right? We're running Adventure Path. Hey, Pathfinder? I mean, people find our path.
You don't have to find the path because you were on the path and you couldn't get off of it.
You couldn't get off the path. Yeah. Remember that Kingmaker one? Remember this? They discovered Grognardia, and they just said, we're gonna make a wilderness, a sandbox, blah blah blah, and so they come up with this Kingmaker one. And I'm reading through this adventure path called Kingmaker. This is ridiculous. I'm like, Jesus Christ! And so many of those guys are old school too.
That's the funny thing. It was pretty good for what it
was.
I
enjoyed the first.
It's the best written railroad I've ever
seen. Exactly.
I mean, the tracks were shiny, but I mean, it to me it was more like what was that? The other, and I don't have a lot of experience with. What are they, morgues or something like that? But they had like zones that you could go into.
EverQuest.
EverQuest. Yeah. Yes. That's what it reminded me more of. So you could go into zones in that thing, and then it would have like certain monsters in there that you could beat. But if you went into a wrong zone, you were basically dead. That's how.
I tell you what,
you had to kind of ease your way into it, know what zone you're in. Overall, I thought they did. For what. Keeping like a little bit of a bridge, because it definitely wasn't going to be a full hex crawl, and it wasn't going to be a full railroad. But I thought they had a little nice mix that they could go out and do some exploration.
It was better than what they normally put out. I'll give you
that. However, farther along that path went, once you got past the second book, then they went back to the old. They went back to the old.
I'll tell you what, though, EverQuest, anybody who played the original EverQuest back in the day, that is the most OG OSR fucking brutal system. Because as Tim says, if you die in a zone and it's a 50th level zone and you're a third level guy, you're dead. Right? It's it.
I
You're
gotta
dead.
loot my body. How do I
That's
get
what.
back to
Remember,
it?
that's what I was getting to. You had to do a corpse run, and you're standing at the gates of Freeport or wherever, and you're asking somebody to give you a sow, Spirit of the Wolf. Anybody for a sow, and you stand there buck naked in your loincloth because you died 3 zones away, right? And in order to get there, you got to cross a couple 50th level zones to get there, and you got no weapons, no armor. You're 9th level, and so your gear is just valuable enough, and you're new enough. You can't afford to lose that guy, and you had 8 hours to do it. 8 hours from the time you died, not 8 hours of online time.
They had a
8
time
hours
frame.
from the time you died. I call that a work because I'm like, I don't want to lose my shit, and I gotta run across these zones because I only got 8 hours to get my shit, and I gotta miss work today. I'm sorry, I'm sick. Cough, cough, cough. I gotta get my
played
gear.
EverQuest once. I started me out on a dock. I didn't know how the controllers work. I fell off the dock and drowned.
All I know is the last.
That's pretty much my experience.
You rolled low again, huh, Tim? You rolled low online.
I think I got up to 25th level, and I left my druid on some island in the middle of the goddamn ocean because there was some way you could travel, and I decided for the hell of it, just jump out, and I didn't die, but I'm on this rocky pinnacle in the middle of the nowhere, and I was planning on the next time of logging on to make put a dice or something on my arrow key and let him swim back to where he needed to be. But no, I never got around to it. So if I ever get to log on to his account, my druid is still out there on some lonely island in the middle of an EverQuest ocean.
Yeah, I had fun with a dwarven paladin, which was my group character. If I was playing with my old D&D group, that's who I used. Otherwise, I had a druid and a shaman, and I think an enchanter. For soloing, classes like the druid, you could run anywhere because you always had so.
Yep. And you could kite if you had a ranger or a necro or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And a shaman was pretty good for following.
But anyway, you can EverQuest guys though. It's for all you talk about the brutality. You guys were wimps compared to the early days of Ultima Online.
You're going with Zork? You're going to go pull a Zork reference on us, Rob?
No, he said
no, Ultima Online.
Ultima Online. I got that was my this game fucking sucks shit. Moose cock. Everything I can say about an RPG because you would log in and you'd spend like 10 hours like shooting targets and chopping trees because that's all you could do, and then you step out of town and you got killed.
You know why? You got killed
by other players.
By other players. Now, so it's like, all right, so what the fuck am I supposed to do? Stay in town all day and chop trees for entertainment?
Here's the worst part, Eric, is that they had the monster mobs in this game able to kill each other, right? And so you would think that if you killed a wolf, you should be able to kill a rabbit. But if the rabbit was lucky enough and rolled a lot of nat 20s, the rabbit could be a 50th level fucking rabbit. And you're just running out there. I just killed a horde of wolves, no problem. Here comes the rabbit from Monty Python, ripping throats out, right? And you got no goddamn bazooka to shoot him with. You're just dead because there's this 50th level rabbit is slaughtering your ass. Yeah. And if it wasn't them, it was the goddamn players. They were just
who mastered Ultima Online?
Who?
Tim. He was the mogul. He was the man with the bucks.
Yep.
He was a crafty.
Well, I became one of the big money makers on there. So
really,
so when I quit Ultima Online and I sold off my gold, I made money, a lot of money off of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Man. Yeah. Well, because it came on the merchants, and it was funny because you know how they had the shards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was one of the, there's always a group of us, but I was one of the, pretty much the price setter for one of the shards. So if you wanted to know how much an item was worth, I was one of the guys you'd go to find out how much it could sell for.
All right.
Everything. And then eventually, definitely I got tired of it and got out. But, like when I sold my, I can't tell you how much I had in gold. I mean, I had over 100 million gold in the bank in there. I don't remember how much.
You and Dwayne were crazy.
Jesus. But who was into that knowing the prices was you guys play with him now, Pete. We used to play EverQuest with Pete. And early on, before they expanded it, you were always in I think it was the East Commons or West Commons tunnel. That's where everybody got together to trade.
Yeah.
Right? Sure.
And so you're all there trading. Me and my brother be running by, killing stuff, going to Desert Road, wherever, and we just run by and like, whoa, Was that Pete? And he's just leaning against the wall. And you don't know if he's logged in or not.
The wall.
He's just standing there, and he's not selling. He never fought or did adventures that much, but he knew. He would just sit there. He's like watching the stock market ticker tape go by. Like, Pete, what's this going for? Boom, he nail it. What's this going for? What's the sword or whatever the hell going for? Boom, 50K. He knew everything, all the prices, but he never fucking did anything.
I know, that was the thing. I learned early on in the game that if you really wanted to be a moneymaker and stuff like that, you didn't go adventuring.
Yeah.
It was weird. I mean, you could do like some of the guys were like relic hunters. What's that?
They were called bods, and you were continually fulfilling.
Yeah, that was definitely one for a thing. But yeah, it's just funny how you can, when you find, especially when it had its own economics and whatnot, that had its own thing. But yeah, it's definitely. I can guarantee you, though, the fun I had in Ultima Online won't be near the fun that anybody's going to have on Dungeons and the online thing that they're going to create.
What are they going to call it? Have you heard? Have they named it yet, or what? Other than the Hoover vacuum of wallets. I mean, what are they going to call this thing? That I guess I haven't named it, right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, what thing are you talking about?
The online, their online. Their online.
Like a name
just
for
going to
it
be like the Dungeons and Dragons forever, VTT, forever taking our money.
Yeah,
forever taking our money.
What about Dungeon Gulag?
Oh, no, that would have been like Neverwinter Nights, like he's talking about. You paid $5 an hour for the privilege of playing a gold box game.
Wait, let's be careful here. The first Neverwinter Night, because the second one by BioWare was awesome.
Right, this is the one that was part of AOL.
I've never played. I've never played Neverwinter Nights, and I feel like I missed out on something. And there's a part of me that just wants to next kind of week off I get from work, I'll vacation where I don't go anywhere because I'm on a staycation, guys. I may just buy the whole goddamn Neverwinter Nights one off of Steam and just start playing for a while.
I used to play on
it's cheap as hell.
Yeah,
it's got to be. And it's 15 years old, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and there were online servers for it too. You could people actually created like micro worlds for it, and
wow.
you'd be the only person running through the not quite massive online presence. Like, oh, there's one other player on. Hi.
I still have a copy of the server that the group that Josh from Game Night. There was a small group of us who got into Neverwinter Nights, and they created a server, and I was the only one who had a computer who could run it as a server that they could just all hop on. So I ran it. And
was Neverwinter Nights the one you could program your own, like you create your own maps and dungeons and stuff? Okay, that was the first time I ever tried to learn computer code, and that's when I learned I will never learn computer code. I can't remember.
I tried to recreate
Creative or something like that. I forgot what it was called. I even bought books, and I'm just like, oh god, is this?
I actually created modules for Neverwinter Nights and shared them online. And people complained they were too hard.
You old school gamer, you.
Call them a bunch of pansies or what?
The goal at the time. I'm sorry.
They were like, we had to rest. We had to rest a lot to get our spells out.
That's my brother talking about Pete. He never killed anything. He watched it like Tank would watch The Matrix on his computer screen. Yeah, that's how Pete did it. Right. He just stood there. He was too much of a wimp to go out and do anything on his own, and he never went anywhere. He just stood next to the wall. You run by, whoa, Pete, what are you doing? And most of the time he was there, just like watching the sales prices go by for auction,
Right.
Hey, Joe, when you play Neverwinter Night, you understand why I'm a bit jaded about this upcoming D&D VTT, because everything that I've seen, it looks better. Don't get me wrong. It will look better. But as far as functionality, it's like, okay, I've done this with Neverwinter Nights. I mean, okay, you're turn-based. That's about it.
Yeah.
But Neverwinter Night, it's sort of like semi-real time. You could pause it a lot, but they use timers instead of, but it works out the same. So however you played D&D 3.0, you can play it the same way with Neverwinter Night.
It's almost like there's no innovation at all.
20 years later, right?
With that, Greg just knocked himself off.
Damn, man.
Goddamn cherry fun.
He got so excited with his innovation, and he knocked himself out again.
Rob, you're talking about Ultimate, whatever. How about Meridian 59? You ever played that one?
No. No.
I never
Oh
even
my
heard of that one.
God.
Yeah, that was pre everything. It was before
Yeah,
EverQuest. It was like the first MMO, I think.
Yeah, it was, and it also sucked.
It was terrible,
did
but it
it?
was fun because it was the first, right? We
Yeah,
didn't know this before.
I know.
You know?
I tried it and I couldn't do anything in it. I was like,
Well,
I
knew it.
got the first MMORPG I was on, Joe, was Ultima Online. I got it at the day of release.
Mine
Not
was
sure if I
EverQuest.
was part of the beta or not, but
I think you were, Rob, because you had some beta artifacts you didn't even know about.
maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, that was funny. Rob's the one who got me sucked into the freaking game, and I didn't come out of it for like 2 years.
300 pounds heavier.
Yeah,
no
but
hair.
you have to admit it was more Dwayne that kept you in there than me.
I'm
'Cause
sorry,
I was
I did
not
have a
that
lot of
good
fun
at
in there.
it.
Yeah, we did.
Rob, I'm sorry to tell you, but that was not the first MMO, and I played the first. If you don't count Neverwinter Nights on AOL.
I thought Meridian 59 was.
No, actually, before that, The Realm by Sierra, and
Really?
I played that one. The Realm also
Yeah, I
sucked.
don't know that
Never heard of that
either.
one.
Yeah.
I know they say they're the first MMOR, but the Ultima Online was the first one with worth anything, and then EverQuest.
And I don't know if it was worth anything because every noob got killed. You know, if you weren't there on the first day a server went up, everybody was killed.
Look, if I could survive being a noob, you could be surviving a noob, and I wasn't that good.
You know what? One of my favorite things online when we played this is Rob would always go out. I had my shop, and I would give Rob stuff. I had enough shit because I had money, and I did the treasure chest. That was the other big thing. I love doing the treasure chest. So I would get Rob all supplied up, get him new armor, get him the silver weapons to fight the undead.
Yeah.
Guaranteed 5 minutes later, Rob's character would pop up butt naked on my doorstep with a cape and a boot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, rusty sword again or something.
Like a lich killed me. His little guy would stand there and go, a lich killed me.
I remember Meridian 59. I was like, first, second level. And my cousin's boyfriend, my brother knows who this guy was. I forget his name, but he's a little dweeb. He was your stereotypical guy who played Meridian 59 24/7, right? Anyway, we get in this and he's showing me the ropes and I'm standing outside the city gates or something. And these like 50th level badasses battling it out. And they both had the best, greatest, armor or whatever. And one guy kills the other. And I'm like, they're just standing there. So I ran forward and I stole everything off the corpse. And now I'm running around like a god, first level guy with all this shit. And I'm like, yes. I think I started a fucking war because of that between guilds or something. It was fantastic though. They didn't have any rules in place. You could steal off of anybody.
You can still play
anybody's
it.
Corpse. Really?
Meridian59.com.
Get out of here. You play it on a web page? You play it through a web page?
No, they have a client and everything. I would check them out to make sure they're not
What's that?
Is Meridian 59? It sounds like a sci-fi game to me. I don't
No,
know.
it was shitty swords and sorcery.
Yeah. By the way, I don't remember this one, and we're talking about gold box games, and I'm very disappointed that nobody brought this one up. Dark Sun Online.
I didn't know there was one.
Somebody did in
Crimson
the chat.
Sands.
Solo did.
This. If I would love to be able to find this and set up our own server and then we could all play it.
I played the game. I didn't remember. I never played it online.
No, they were standalone versions, but there was an online version that was put out for Windows 95.
Wow. Did you need a Pentium 1 to run it?
Hey,
could you do it with a DX100?
I have fond memories of the gold box because it was the first time that Dwayne, Tim, and me got to play AD&D together.
Yeah, it was fun. Although it was funny, one of us would be at the computer controlling the party, and then basically whoever was sitting in the chair just became the puppet because the other two behind us would just tell you everything to do.
Yeah.
It just became one of those little rituals on a Friday or Saturday night, barring any female interference, but that didn't happen a ton. So
sounds like the group that sits together, on each other's lap playing AD&D online all night is not going to get a lot of female action. Just throwing that out there.
Were there any young ladies making you nut cheese back then?
I didn't realize the magic of the nut cheese back then. But
you can download it from Internet Archives, I believe, Eric. I don't think it's called Dark Sun Online. Is it called called Dark Sun Shattered Lands?
Eric,
hold on.
Greg, it sounds like you got to do your Shadow Sun version of that now, man.
Dark Sun Crimson
Yeah.
Sands is the online version.
Okay, I will check
I-
that.
And I
I
have
do
to.
not know how to code, Joe.
Greg, I don't know how you got that. What's it called now? Shadow Sun? Is that what you called it?
Yeah,
Shadow Sun. How you got it out? What was it? 128 page.
amazing. I mean, seriously, dude, was
What'd
it
you do,
like speed? What drug
Right.
were you on? Coke?
He found
What?
an old box of Dexatrim and just
You know, I
dropped it
mean,
out.
what the
Yeah.
hell? What were you doing here?
Right.
Dexatrim. But now you got a lot of tweakers running around. Do you have any Dexatrim at the CVS or something? I heard it's good shit.
It was good shit.
I can write a
Yeah,
supplement.
Eric,
with
they
Dexatrim.
have it. Dark
All right.
AD&D Dark Sun Online Crimson Sand for Windows.
Wow.
They have a 18 meg zip file.
Oh, 18 megs.
Oh, that's too big.
I have
How many
Word
3.5s
documents
is
larger
that?
than that.
How
Right.
many is that? What, a 12 3.5s? Is that how it went? What? How big were these?
Oh,
3.5s?
right. How many discs?
Yeah, how many discs did you have to
Right.
fucking?
Please enter disc C now.
Yeah, and then you put the wrong one in, and then you screw the whole thing up. You
Right.
know,
Exactly.
start all over.
Enough.
Yeah, it
Uh,
looks like an entire game folder.
Okay. When I got my first CD ROM drive and I installed it myself into my little IBM compatible, what the first thing it did was it fucked with my modem.
Oh, how? What?
I don't know exactly. So I learned that if I wanted to log into AOL, I had to download the Geos version of AOL, which I don't think anybody, probably Rob, remembers Geos. I could go into
I try to
AOL.
forget it, Eric. Thanks for bringing that
You're
up.
welcome. I could go into AOL with Geos, but I could not get my modem to work with Windows until that was under 3.1. Then Windows 95 came out, and that somehow cleared up the the conflict with the IRs and all the other shit.
Oh, it was a port. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah.
there was
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so Windows 95 was
especially Windows 98 was
98 was a memory bleed disaster. It was just, the more you had, the longer you get 3 hours out of it before the memory bleed just froze your computer up. It was terrible.
I don't know. I never
Yeah,
had a
they
problem with
They
it.
actually came out with I was in college at the time. They had Windows 98 Lite that some guy built a build of it, and it would basically dump all the memory bleeding stuff out.
it was like
then
a guy with a shovel in the background, just getting rid of it all.
it would cut the installation folder in half, like everything. Like it was way lighter version, and I looked all this. I mean, from a user perspective, almost identical. Like it was little tools that they had, like running in the taskbar and shit, that were causing that problem. And I remember playing Half-Life 1 on that.
Oh gosh, Half-Life. Yeah, I remember that one. I love the Half-Life. Yeah.
Now I'm beginning to feel old.
Yeah.
Windows 98 Second Edition was my go-to OS for a long time.
Second edition cleared up the bleed. That cleared up the bleed. Windows 98 second. I think.
Yeah, it was a definite improvement over the original release.
Yeah. That's why they came out. I think was the bleed for the most part.
Little secret: the NYPD was running Windows 98 Second Edition until about 2012.
Well, didn't your Connecticut state government just get rid of that like last year, Joe?
Dude, they were my where I work in the state was over 25 years behind our technology. So when COVID hit, we couldn't adapt.
Right.
You know, we couldn't. We just like, okay, this is a laptop. You know, this is what do we do with this? How do we hook it up to these telephone wires? You know,
I've written training for a company that was actually using a DOS system to process certain transactions.
Oh wow!
Like within the past year, I've done work for this.
I had the group I worked for had a system that was built using some code from the 70s, mid 70s, right? And they were still using it in the early 2000s. And so 28 years later, 29 years later, it's 06. So yeah, so even more. So 70, like 30 years later, these people are still using this. Now, a woman who had coded this in the mid 70s knew she was retired and old and this and that. And she knew a woman who was still working where I work. And she says, oh my God, you're still using that? We designed that in 75 to be something that only lasts 2 years. It was just to get us through.
Right.
And now 28 years later, you're still using that piece of shit. That was, of course.
If it ain't broke, why fix it?
It's
broke.
Right.
It's broke.
It's broke. It's been broke. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, the good news back then is you could have one 386 ran the entire state of Connecticut's computer network. That's all you needed as a server.
And it's a workhorse.
Isn't that 386 the number of citizens?
We have a good number of citizens. We pack them all tight together, like cockroaches.
Okay.
Use lots of lubricant.
Yeah, except the eastern part. That's where you get all like the chicken farms and meth labs is Eastern Connecticut.
Yeah, you need some space for the meth labs. Yeah.
We
You're
try to
basically
keep
Rhode
those.
Island when you get out.
So
That's what it is,
So-
Eric. Yeah, that's what it is. The
So
farmland.
speaking of old
meth.
computer tech, so when my parents
off of meth now?
founded the Vicon making metal cutting machine, we first released it with a $10,000 HP workstation, which looked like what a PC would look like today. And now it's our first one. And the last time I dealt with one was in 2013.
Oh.
Jesus.
And we had to tell the guy it was dead. Time to upgrade.
Hey, Joe, why don't you
Hey guys, I got to get going. But
All right.
I will.
Oh, we were just going to get I was going to tell Joe to get his trivia.
It's LARPing
Oh,
time.
we do have
Yeah,
trivia.
I gotta get
yes,
going
yes.
now.
Hold on.
Well, you got another interview to go
I
to,
will
Rob?
fetch the trivia.
No. All right.
Rob, is
Well,
it
have
your
a good
birthday
night,
or
Rob.
something? Is it like happy time?
It's my fucking personal business, Joe.
Well, I don't know. Happy time it is. Have fun, Rob. I'll go get the trivia pursuit.
All right, talk to you later, guys.
Later, Rob.
Damn, I don't get any respect.
Nobody
No,
does.
That's not. Too funny.
Had to go you had to strike when the moment's hot.
I guess so. Now he's going to wonder what we're going to say about him now that he's left.
He's
you
like,
know?
I'm still listening. That just because I have it off doesn't mean I can't hear you fuckers talking about me.
That's right.
My ears are bleeding.
So, Greg, what's your next product then, man? What are you working on now?
I actually had some inspiration while weed killing today.
Okay.
So
What kind of weed are you talking about?
like
Like
not
Joe's weed
not
killing,
Joe's kind
or-
of weed.
No, okay, all right.
I was using some spray in the yard. Okay, so I was thinking about the way that this is kind of insider information for about a week, but Kelsey has a lot of random generation tables in the main PDF for ShadowDark that randomly build a city out of you roll for the size of the settlement, and then based on that there's a number of districts, then you roll for the number of what is each district. It might be businessy district, it might be a religious district or whatever, and then within that district you roll up buildings that are in that district, so you can kind of create a whole random settlement like that. And I was thinking about, I absolutely love the Skyrim alchemy system. For those that don't know, basically every kind of effect that you can have in alchemy is tied to 4 different ingredients that are scattered all over the world. And if you put 2 of those ingredients into a potion, it'll add that effect, right? So if you get hawk feathers and bone meal from a undead skeleton, then you put it together, it might create a potion that has an effect that those 2 items share. But each item has its own 4 different properties of its own. So it's like,
Right, I do remember that now.
you can combine all these different things. So I was thinking if I can figure out a way to create a layered randomization, so that, because the problem with having all that stuff pre-designed is that then the player can just look at the reference and see what, like if I go to play Skyrim now, I can just Google up which ingredients have this particular effect, right? And then it'll all show. So I was thinking, if when the person's creating the world, they randomize, they could just get like a random output from an Excel file or something that has these are all the ingredients that go into the alchemy in your world, and it's randomized each time. So then the players will never know, and then they have to. In Skyrim, you had to actually eat each thing. You have to figure out what the base level effect was, and then you had to do some experimentation to figure out the higher order effects. If you don't have Google, So I was thinking if you randomized it every time, then the players would always have to do the experimentation, and then anybody could be an alchemist if they're just willing to devote the time to I'm gonna take a sip of this strange shit right here,
Right.
and then they figure out, okay, that causes paralysis.
Sounds like college, man. That's what you're talking about there. Many a party.
Yeah.
But here's the real question: what does your alignment change to if you equip the eye or hand of Vecna?
Chaotic Evil.
Oh gosh, he's back to the Trivial
Yes.
Pursuit.
Tim has summoned Trivial Pursuit Night.
I'm gonna
Is
say chaotic evil.
Is it just chaotic or is it chaotic evil?
It's
which
the 9 and 9.
edition are we
It's
talking
the
I
9
was gonna say
It's
hand
the 9
and
axis.
Vecna if we're talking about the first edition.
AD&D. Yeah.
Did you ever have a player poke their own eye out?
Yeah.
I did.
Rob got the hand, never got the eye, but he did get the hand. And then he tried to kill me with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Here's my with my party back in my high school days. We gave everything away. We were Monty Hall and then some, and then I realized it was Monty Hall, and I was like, I gotta fix this. So how do you get rid of the hand of Vecna? Tomb of Horrors.
There you
Put
go.
his hand into the gaping mouth of that gargoyle that had the Sphere of Annihilation.
Oh, the green devil face.
Yeah, so like, well, you can't destroy an artifact that way. I didn't say it's destroyed. It's just no longer on your hand. There was a big flash and a boom. Well, artifact 1 gone, 3 more to go. End of the campaign. It was easier. Go ahead, Joe.
All right. The answer is neutral evil.
Neutral
Oh, we're
evil.
all
Neutral
wrong.
evil.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Let's see the next one.
Oh, Michael got it.
Well, all right. I'm
Yeah,
not
you
looking
got
at
it.
there. So, yeah. All right. What 2008 module, H1, was the first official product published by Wizards of the Coast for 4th edition?
Oh, why are you asking us 4th edition?
Because I know you don't know the answers.
Well, H1 wasn't that a
You're talking the Bloodstone H1, Tim.
Bloodstone? Yeah.
Yeah. But this is a 4th edition H1.
Horrible D&D games for
Right.
It was Keep on the Shadowfell.
Keep on the Shadowfell. I do kind of remember that name, yeah, but I didn't know it had a numeral letter thing next to it, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right. What legendary evil being is rumored to have written the Book of Vile Darkness?
Kyle Briggs.
Kyle Briggs.
His dad.
Bruce
Briggs
Campbell.
Jr.
Bruce Campbell, and that's my final answer.
What was it? Who wrote the book of?
Who wrote what legendary evil being is rumored to have written the Book of Vile Darkness?
Lorraine.
Asmodeus.
Vecna. Again with the Vecna.
Vecna.
Yeah.
Jeez, Vecna's been busy.
Yeah, I know.
How did he or she write it without a hand?
Teeth,
had
put
the
the pen
other
in their
hand.
teeth.
She
I don't
couldn't
know.
see,
Dictation.
couldn't write it, so I think she had a ghostwriter. I don't know if Vecna's supposed to be a guy or girl. I always when I heard the name, I always imagined a female.
Vecna's a dude. Ugly
Well,
dude.
when
but a
I
dude.
heard it, I always imagined a female, so I don't
Oh,
If
care.
the name
well,
begins with an A,
yeah.
it must be a woman. If it ends with an O, it must be a man. So say the Latinos.
I don't know why. Maybe because it ends with a A. Because usually when you end your name with an A, sometimes it makes you think that way. I don't know.
What is the native language of a creature that dwells in the elemental planes of Earth, like Earth elementals?
Terran.
Boom! Nails it. Pulls it out. In
Terran.
Dragonlance.
Not Karen.
I was going to say
R-R-A-N, like Earth. Yeah, Terra. All right. In Dragonlance, what was the surname of Tika before she married Karaman?
Tikka masala.
No.
no idea. The
Really?
surname. No, why would I know that?
Oh, because
I read it when it first came out.
I barely remember
okay.
Tikka herself. How would I remember her surname?
It was
Tika, who gives a
Waylon.
Oh,
Waylan. Waylan.
Jason got it.
All right. So that's easy for the audience. Too.
I'm
You
a
never know.
creep, Michael. What the hell?
Yeah,
All right, a little history here. How many
All right.
copies of the 1974 print edition of D&D were made?
No.
The original
First.
box. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say.
Bad Mike could know this.
Yeah, Ben might know this.
He might have one.
No, he doesn't. I'm gonna say 250.
Anyone else?
150. I'm gonna guess 150. It's a complete guess. 150.
1,000.
Oh, okay.
And it sold for $10.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
No
right.
more,
Let's
The original self-published.
Yeah. Zine size, huh?
This is the too easy one.
Mike got it. Yeah, Mike.
Are Modrons lawful or chaotic typically?
Modrons are lawful.
Modrons are lawful, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Defective rogue morons are ostracized and hunted down, apparently. Who knew?
I know that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Strixhaven University was founded by a group of 5 wizards. True or false?
Doesn't matter.
Who gives a shit? Is the proper answer.
Excuse me, Alex. I'd like to get the category "Who gives a flying fuck?"
Wizards of the Cunt.
There, and we got demonetized.
Yeah, Wizards of
There
the
it
Coast.
is.
The
Yeah,
Coast.
there it is.
If I'm British, can I say cunt?
No,
You have to be Scottish or Irish.
I got demonetized for saying a word that sounds like bunt and begins with C. YouTube said no pennies for you. All right, I'm taking away your $3. I mean,
that sucks.
Yeah.
Can mummies speak? Yes, they can. Apparently, they can actually speak.
So they're sentient undead. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Well, mummies are sentient. Yeah, because you know.
No, I don't know. That's why I said I didn't
know.
know.
I think mummies are sentient because they're always like a higher undead. It's the
They're
zombies.
just a higher smack daddy kind of undead.
Here's a good one. Here's a deep dive into history.
Uh-oh.
What was the name of the example adventure in the 1977 Holmes basic set? Featured a tower. It featured a tower belonging to what sorcerer? That's the question. So that adventure in the Holmes box set had a tower belonging to who?
I don't know.
No.
Come on, chat. Let's see.
The Archmage.
No.
No.
Who
Niverblim.
You will have heard it when I said the word.
Elminster.
No, Xenopus.
No, Elminster wasn't around.
Never heard of Xenopus.
Oh, Xenopus, because somebody had a blog named Xenopus.
Yep, exactly. That's why I knew you would have heard the word before, and there's a channel.
Okay, yeah, I didn't. I would say that's Xenopus.
Michael, zombies can't wipe their ass because they don't do the poops, and if they did the poops, they'd have to unwrap themselves, so they can't wipe their ass.
In Faerun, what is the term for the powerful non-human wizards who rose in the Underdark beneath Netheril long ago? Anyone? No? They're weird-looking things.
Red wizards?
Faerim. Phaerimm. All right. What mysterious monolith?
Was it in the movie? I don't think it was in the movie. Was it in the movie?
Yeah, if it was in the movie, it doesn't count. What mysterious monolith is known as the Enigma of Greyhawk? Anybody? Greyhawk people? Joe Block is screaming in his underwear. I know it somewhere.
Hold on, Joe. Let me phone
Is
it
it bad that I'm an old time D&D player, but I don't know shit about Forgotten Realms? I don't know shit about Greyhawk. I never liked them.
Yeah. Well, you did your own thing, man.
Yeah,
you did your own thing.
Yeah.
It was called The Great Stone Face.
Oh, so it isn't Doom Grinder?
Yeah, it's a Doom Grinder. No, it wasn't a Doom Grinder, but yeah, that's what I would have thought too, because that was a cool little thing that Carl Sargent put out, I think,
Doom Grinder.
Whose name does the cryptic black scarab bearing the letters TZGY in the village of Hamlet hint at?
Jesus.
This is the best question when you know, but you can't remember.
Yeah, I can't.
Zigmoy to Zugtamoy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it is. That was it. You're correct, sir.
It was on the tip of my unused part of my brain. I couldn't get it out.
Oh, here's deep lore. Where's Mike? Where's bad Mike? You might know this.
He's here, he's around.
What miniature wargaming firm, which had previously published Gary Gygax and Dave Arnaz's work, famously declined to print D&D in 1973?
Gideon, Gaiden.
Damn, somebody knows this shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
GUIDON Games. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Here you go. We were talking about this. In the computer game Planescape Torment, what is the name of the bar where you first encountered the fire wreath mage Ignis?
Smoldering Corpse.
Damn. You Googling that shit fast, dude. Pretty good, man. All right.
All
right.
Did you know that?
Hold
Greg, or
to
did you Google it?
disbelieve.
Yeah.
No, I played that game.
I was gonna say he's a computer gamer guy, so I
is.
believe he knew it.
Yeah. No, he did. Yeah, I get it. Oh, so I hate when they do these questions about spells because we're going to think the AD&D spell and they're talking 5th edition. So I'm only going to read that because you might be
They're
right.
gonna-
40 years ago.
Okay.
All right. The Kingdom of Cormyr in Faerun is famous for being the home of a rare dragon of what unusual color?
Purple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the
And
name of their army too.
Yes. The
I
purple
just
dragons.
guessed. I figured that was one of the colors they didn't use.
What's left? What's left of
We
my
were gonna go with
Tim-
rainbow, but
Tim
it
looks at his
was
crayon
brown.
box and just
Right, yeah,
knocks
you
off
just
the
like,
crayons.
yeah, you're not wrong.
I wanted a fuse dragon, but they said, "Nah, let's do purple."
Oh, here's a good one for Greyhawk people. In Greyhawk, which deity is the greatest enemy of the chaotic evil demigod he is? Come on. My brother's yelling it out right now.
And Cuthbert.
Yes.
Insane
Boom.
Comfort, That's it.
Boom,
That's
boom.
the one I can think of. Yeah,
Yep.
about the only one I know.
But they're both demigods. That's why too, right? So they're on the same power level.
Hmm.
All right. What convention founded by Avalon Hill in 75 rivaled Gen Con for
Origins.
this?
Origins. Yeah, I knew that
I
one.
did not know that. It's funny what I think is hard and is easy, or vice versa,
Right.
All right, let me jump ahead a little bit here.
James Spawn is in the audience.
All right.
Uh-oh.
We might have. There might be a plant in the audience. Let's be careful.
What happens if you fail your save against the bite of a cockatrice? Can I say cock and not get canceled here?
Yeah,
Turn to
Turn
stone.
to stone.
your cock falls off.
Whoa.
There.
Cockaless.
Turns you to stone for how long?
How
Ever.
long?
Forever.
24 hours, according to this. It must be a 5th
I don't
edition
remember
version.
the time. Yeah, I don't remember the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
time now. Oh, don't worry. Hey, for 24 hours, we can fuck with them.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
Can you imagine that
Chisel his
happening in our
dick
group?
off and
Yeah.
oh yeah, we
Oh,
chisel the dick and balls off.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy would have no.
Jim would put his
You
put
would.
his penis in his hand.
Yep.
He wakes up. You're just.
Oh,
my
God.
God. Yeah, we would be bad with that shit.
Who is the character? Who is the character Drawmidge in Greyhawk named after?
Jim Ward.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. You think Rob's done with his booty call by now? His birthday booty call? You think it's all done? All right. Back to the important questions.
Love LARPing.
Love. Fucking. Oh God. All right. President Lorraine Williams was born into a family that owned the rights to what science fiction character?
Rogers.
Yes.
Bud Light.
Bud Light.
That's another issue.
Yeah. All right. In what 1982 Spielberg film will a group of teen kids playing D&D?
E.T.
Yes. All right.
It was the first time I ever saw D&D on the screen, and that's the only reason why I liked the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just fascinated.
I like
That's
Reese's
true.
Pieces.
That was good too.
I did
yeah,
like
gotta
Reese's
say.
Pieces. I did like that too.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. A skeleton on the floor points the way out of the chapel of evil in a tomb of horrors. True or false?
False.
I was going to say false. I think that's in the C1
It's
or
a red
2
herring, right?
or something like that. No. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm getting the images. That was the time when they had like the images and those little booklets that came with the module. And I can see that picture, but I'm getting it mixed up between C1 and S1.
James Bond votes false.
It
Yeah, I'm
is
gonna say
false.
false.
The answer says false. It's a trap.
Right. Okay, so it was an S1, but it
Yeah,
was
that's a red herring. Yeah.
false. Yeah.
All right. Oh, here's a good question.
Bad Mike, he points to Wizards of the Coast reputation.
Which of the following is not a type of demon? Mains, Lamia, Dretch, Vrock, or Quasit?
Shrock?
Vrock, VR.
Wait,
So-
go through it again.
I want to say Lamia.
Mains, Lamia, Dretch, Vrock,
Lamia.
or Quasit? Lamia?
Lamia is a snake person.
I thought that was the
Oh,
half
yeah,
woman, half
Lion
right,
or something. Yeah.
lion thing.
Apparently, it says here that Lamias are creations of a demon lord, but they are
Oh.
classified as monstrosities.
Right.
There you go.
Whoa. Who classified it as monstrosity?
The 5th edition people.
So the right answer.
I don't know. And I
Wait,
gotta look.
the OSR correct answer. Would be
Yeah,
all
what
the
is?
above.
I got to look at the monster manual now. What monster manual were they in? There's a sub question to this. Do you remember? I'm looking. I'm grabbing them off the shelf right
Eric,
now.
did you bring a weapon tonight?
I know. I see him waving around.
What you
somewhere
got in
there.
your hand there? Do we need to call the police?
This?
Lamia. All right, here's the
Rage?
description.
I bought a bonsai 3 weeks ago, and now I get. And it's like I get to trim my bonsai.
Wax on, wax off, brother.
Nice. All right, here is the Lamia in the AD&D monster manual. By the way, nice boobs. Okay, I never noticed that because I was too busy looking at the succubus back then.
I was going to say we were stuck on the succubus.
Quick
Yeah.
open
So my pages were stuck together in a succubus. Anyway, the description of a Lamia. Prefer to dwell in deserts, ruined cities, caves, and alike. Their upper torso, blah, 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 is a human female. Their lower is a beast, fast, powerful, armed with daggers, usually able to use the following spells, blah, 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 blah. Not a damn thing about demons.
Not being a demon.
No.
Nothing. Not a single thing.
Well, that's
So,
actually a
you
creature
see-
out of the Bible, too, I think, if I remember.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It's got, or Sumerian myth or something. It's got something to do with some
Yeah, it's the
mythological
same as
stuff.
Lamasu. I think it's the Sumerians.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So see 5e playing with the rules again.
Yeah, this is it. There's a lot of these questions are, oh, here you go, Greg. In Dark Sun, how many moons are in the sky above Athos?
Oh shit! I deleted that part. I deleted all that lore down to one page.
Oh,
Fuck that.
You don't know. You don't know. You're failing on your Dark Sun check here, Greg. I gotta say that's bad,
Eric
man.
played it way more than me.
But I didn't worry about how many moons were in the sky.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say, if the answer is a number and the number is unknown, you always go with the Holy Trilogy because everybody likes things in 3. So I'm
2
going to go with
moons, Ral and Guthay.
All right, your answer is 3.
Yes.
Wrong. 2, and they are called Ral and Guthay, and they meet in eclipse once every 11 years. So there you go.
James Spahn gets the no
James Bond
prize.
was the first.
All right. What color-coded objects do adventurers need to accumulate to open important doors in Expedition to the Barrier Peaks?
Keys.
Gosh, I don't remember. Oh, were they those cards?
Yes, I was hoping you would get that. You love the cards so much in your games, Tim. I was thinking you'd probably get that one.
Well, no,
right.
I don't. Yeah, no, these are the wrong cards, though. But yeah.
Yeah, well, card
Key
no
cards,
less. All right.
that's right.
What early imitation of D&D was designed by Ken St. Andre? That's an easy one.
Tunnels and
Tunnels,
Trolls.
Oh. All right.
He is
I
a
can't believe
colorful
that. Wait,
character.
that's an
Yes, he
actual
is.
authorized Wizards of the Coast product, or I mean, it's a D&D theme, and they're allowed to mention Tunnels and Trolls. I'm surprised they even acknowledge the game existed.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of the history, I guess. Like, it's interesting. I've never heard of this. This is a history section. What Los Angeles-based fanzine, here you go, Tim, was founded in June of 1975 as a discussion forum for D&D and continues to this day?
Alarms and
Dragon.
I was going to say
excursions.
what Eric just said.
What is it?
Alarms and excursions.
Yes, correct. Absolutely correct. That's interesting. All right. In Dark Sun, what phenomena appears in the sky above Athos once every 45 years?
The burning ass of God. God.
The hemorrhoid ass of God.
A comet.
Yes, called the Messenger. Some believe it delivers information to the world's only dragon. You know, the more I hear about Dark Sun, the more I think it might be actually interesting to play. I don't know if I even have it over there. Like I'm looking on the shelf now. I thought I had some
Dark. Any Dark Sun stuff.
I don't know that I do. I mean, I have. What the fuck is over here?
Didn't that come out more in second edition, or was that first?
That's where I'm looking. I got a second edition shelf of shit.
And fourth.
And
I was going to say, because I was out of D&D by the time second edition hit, you know, and then I didn't come back until like
I have a PDF of like multiple books put together in the same PDF, Joe, if you want.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's cool.
That way
I wouldn't mind just
keep
checking.
our money out of Wizards of the Coast.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, as such. We cannot prove or claim or confirm any such knowledge of any such.
Oh, interesting. For all you who watched the D&D movie, how many legs does a displacer beast have?
6.
Boom.
I don't need to watch the stupid movie.
They were in it though. I saw it actually. Me and my brother saw it.
I will say they did in the
too. Shit.
They did really do a good job with some of the monster.
I'm sure it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I just don't.
It was really good.
Yeah.
What group did Patricia Pulling found in 1983 during the height of the Satanic Panic?
Mothers Against Dragons.
No, close. It's one of them. It's something like that.
Right. Oh God.
Bothered about Dungeons and Dragons. It's bothered something.
I can't remember.
Bothered about Dungeons and Dragons.
Karens Against Dragons.
He's right. Bad. Bothered about Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I didn't know that one.
See, I wasn't even alive. Well, I was like 4 years old, I guess.
Oh. The wolf in sheep's clothing in Expedition to the Barrier Peaks resembles what cute animal sitting on a stump?
Rabbit.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, nailed it.
Was it one of those rabbits from EverQuest, Joe?
It could have been, man. They either run away.
Rabbits.
The rabbits are too many. Oh God. What is this? You never know what the fuck they're. You know, some are easy. Some
rabbit slippers that are mimics into my games just to fuck with Joe. You know, just like.
I don't trust anything in your game, Tim. If you just said the air is blowing your direction, I'd run. You know, so
you can make a mimic the size of a brothel, and he'll walk right in.
Right, that's true. Yes, that is true. Yeah.
It wasn't me who was getting laid in the brothel though. I just hung out. What's his face? Ken's character got laid there. Remember?
I don't.
You know,
Yeah.
He's got the
I was looking for the gambling machines. Where's the slot machines?
Yeah, give me a good shopping trip or a slot machine, and I'm all about that, man.
Exactly, yeah.
You know. All right. In what module did the Drider first appear as a monster?
No, it
Vaults
was
of the Underdark.
Yeah, I was going to say D3, I think.
Which one was that, Tim?
It's D3. That's the one it is. Yeah. Because let me see. Because D1 and D2 were descending the devs, and D3 was it the Vault of the Drow?
D3 is Vault of the Drow.
So I'm going to say that one.
Nope. Q1, Queen of the Demon Web Pits.
Oh, so it came in the one next. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought they showed up in D3.
Oh, here's one. Don't say anything, my brother. Who was the bodyguard of Vecna, a ruthless lieutenant whose sentient magic sword still bears his name?
Jeremy Crawford.
he was the answer to another one. But Koss, Eric nailed it.
Koss.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Dragon issue number 83, March 84, carried a short story introducing what new campaign setting?
That was Forgotten Realms, wasn't it?
No.
83.
What was it? What was it again? I was so busy.
Dragon 83 of March 84 had a short story introducing.
Oh, was that Dragonlance?
Yes, nailed it.
Yeah.
Dragonlance.
Yep. And it was one of those two. Yeah.
Yep. What member of Gygax's family played Irak's cousin, a mysterious mage in Greyhawk who never revealed his true name?
What was his name again?
Irak's cousin, ERAC's cousin.
Heidi.
That's what James is saying. James votes Heidi.
No, yeah, it was Ernie.
That's I didn't know. I guess they were never that creative with their names back then because it
I
always
guess
had
just a
something
little
to do
bit.
with their
Yeah, just to show how irrelevant he's gotten. That we're guessing Heidi before Ernie.
Right.
Well, we all saw it in the advertisement, right? I mean, shit.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to have seen Ernie that way.
No, and especially not now. You know.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe
All right.
Radji could take those photo shots.
Hey. All right. Which of the outer planes features soaring mountains and deep fjords where heroes come to test their mettle?
The outer plane, you said?
Yeah. Which outer plane has soaring mountains and deep fjords where heroes come to test their mettle? There's a clue in there that should give you an idea.
It's the Nordic one, Valhalla.
Well,
He
is that an outer plane? Okay, I didn't know that was an outer plane.
YSGARD. Yeah. All right, here's one. Which of the outer planes is a place of dramatic scenery and good-natured but passionate inhabitants, including numerous elves?
I think the one James guessed, Elysium.
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 The Olympian Plains of Arborea.
I think Mike wins it with Upper Wisconsin.
Upper Wisconsin.
Oh God. There are a lot of outer planes questions here. Let me find a good one. No.
There are no good ones.
No, there's some. No, that's too hard. It sounds like a disease. No. Oh, here. Which of the outer planes? Which of the outer planes, known as the Tartarian Depths, is a place of desolation and despair that functions as a prison? Greg is going to say marriage, or at least past marriage. No.
You're just making up planes, I think. So
Carceri.
I was never really big on the planes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew the generic versions of them, but that's about it.
Manual of the Planes was less useful than the Dungeoneer Survival Guide, which was not useful.
Oh, when what module does a Shidu Skell in a trophy room scream "Alarum, robbers" when a pair of walrus tusks are touched? There's some clues in there. I should give it to you, but it's past 10, so we're all old.
Can you repeat the question in the form of a question?
In what module does a Shidu, SHEDU, skull in a trophy room scream "Alarum, robbers" when a pair of walrus tusks are touched?
G1.
No.
Fuck me.
No, definitely no.
You
haven't even looked me up first, Eric.
Oh, wow.
Is that Treasures of the Frost Giant?
Nope.
Debbie's Sex Shop.
G2, the glacial rift of the Frost Giant Jarl.
That's the one That's the part of the G.
I got Frost Giant at least.
You said Frost Giant.
He got Frost Giant.
I mean, listen, I never owned G1 or I owned G1, 2, 3.
Right.
So to me, it's all one adventure.
Yeah, I know.
And G2 was the one that people went through to get to G3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, G2 was never really. It was sort of a walkthrough once.
It's hard. You do G1. Okay, that was fun.
G1 was
have
fun.
to do G2.
Okay. How many of you guys had groups that wanted to go through G1 at first level just so they could kill the sleeping giants to level up to third level really quick?
No, if I had thought about that, it was a good idea. Especially me back then.
1,200 points, XP points, plus 8 hit points or 8 experience points per hit point. So if you killed 2 of them, you ended up around $3,000 in XP.
But that's cheating because you can't gain more than one level. So you got
one level plus
1 point.
And who of us all paid attention to the rules verbatim?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that one you couldn't level more than 1 per session. So we just said, fuck it, you just level 1 per session.
Here's another. Isn't it interesting? And here's another G2 question: what potential ally to a party has been manacled and imprisoned by the Jarl in G2?
Oh, Greg, you should know this. This is a manacle question.
I know, really.
Greg is all about the manacles.
We're talking about his kinky sex life, not his D&D style of play, of course.
Right now,
Greg is gone.
I don't know this.
So
Storm Giantess.
Yeah, I was going to say it was another giant, but I couldn't remember if it was what kind it was. So it was Storm Giantess. Okay.
Mike has a trivia question.
Yes.
What mantra does the Dick Boner Vecna scream, no touching, if you attempt to grab it and run with it?
Didn't Shane steal like a bunch of dicks in one adventure, Tim? We were running around like a maniac. He's like a statue.
Who
He
did?
chopped all the Shane.
Shane,
he,
he did. He had a bag of dicks.
He had literally a bag of dicks. He was a
He
bunch of
literally
statues
did.
of naked men.
Dicks, and then he was using it as a weapon.
As a weapon. He was killing things. And he was doing better than you, usually. You know, it's with the swinging the bag of dicks.
Well, I could have a +5 holy adventure, and somebody could still beat me up with a bag of dicks.
Bag of dicks.
That's exactly it.
I didn't know what the hell he was doing. Going around breaking the statue's dicks off, and he put them all in a bag. I'm like, oh my god! It was like facepalm moment, you know? Like, what the hell is he doing with this?
Yeah,
So he's getting his rocks off. I'm like, yeah, go get your rocks off, whatever, man.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. In the D series of the D&D adventure modules, what does the D stand for?
Dro.
Dro. It was so easy. It was a trick question. Deep underground, you encounter a creature resembling a large worm with 4 barbed tentacles surrounding a beak. What is it called?
A growl.
No.
No, it's not a worm. That curl's not a worm.
Oh, it's not a worm. I was just thinking of a beak.
Right. 4 barbs on the beak, but it looks like a worm.
Greg got the first 2 letters correct. If that's a help.
Greg did?
Yes, he said Grell.
Grell.
GR something. Hard one. That's why I'm giving you a clue.
Huh.
It's not a carrying call.
I can't think of what it is. Yeah.
Grick.
All right.
Oh.
Greg. Okay.
When we get to that level.
Mm-hmm. That almost sounds like a Fiend Folio type of creature or something there. You know, the ones I never used.
Yeah, I think that is. Yeah. Oh, are we ready to wrap up this?
Yeah, I think so.
We're ready to wrap.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right,
Well,
guys.
this is good, man. We did a nice little hex crawl.
Hey,
We're kind of all over the place today. Yeah,
that's
started
true.
off with what creative stuff for wizards, and then we did our typical wizards bastion for a while.
Yeah, you got it.
Moved into online gaming, and then talked about old computer systems.
Rob got laid. His birthday
And
present.
Rob
Then
apparently
yeah.
having happy times.
I
with
gotta
Joe.
go. It's time.
It's time.
It's time. The blue pill has kicked in. Sorry, guys, I'm out of here.
I've got limited time to use this. I don't want to lose this.
If you're having trouble falling asleep tonight, folks, just try to dream the world in which Wizards of the Coast is impressive to you.
Oh, well, if I had a dream, I don't know if I wasted on that, but okay.
Right.
Oh, folks.
They're going to go somewhere with Rob there. I don't know where
No,
you're going with that,
no.
Greg.
I was wondering about that too.
I'm not a pervert like you, Joe.
Listen, we pick on Rob because he's not here. That's what we
Right.
pick
Yeah,
on.
basically.
I'd pick on him to his face, so I'd say that.
Yeah. Oh, I
I
said
I
it.
pick on him to his face from behind my not face.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
I've been doing it for 30
Whatever,
years.
sir.
Yeah.
I pick on him by text every day.
Rob is like Mr. Cotter. How's the song go for Mr. Cotter? We love him on, and even him on a spy. Love him a lot. Whatever the hell it is. Yeah,
Right,
Mr.
yeah.
Cotter.
Welcome
Rob
back.
is Mr. Cotter.
Mr. Cotter. Mr. Cotter.
Oh, that makes so.
Module
Who
B3, Rob's blue pill of happiness. There you go.
So if Rob is Mr. Cotta, who are the rest of us? We had Horseshack. Who's Horseshack?
I'll be Epstein.
Epstein. Epstein is he was the Puerto Rican Jew. He always called himself. Remember?
Yeah.
Right.
Epstein.
yeah.
I'm a Puerto Rican Jew.
He was always like he had the locker full of excuses. You know, every time he was late for something, he's always had an excuse. Yeah.
Vinny Barbarino was John Travolta, right? He was
Travolta.
the moron of the group, right? You had Horseshack,
Right.
who I got to say, going back again to him, who was the Shane was Horseshack. I think that's pretty clear, right?
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's no way around
Freddie
that.
Boom, Boom, Washington.
Yes.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
man.
God.
Yeah, we're going way back now, guys. We're
Uh-huh. Tell you what, Mr. Cotter, I don't know how he got a hot wife like that. I had a thing for her even back in the 70s. She was pretty cute, man.
She was definitely.
She was smoking. She always made
funny.
tuna casserole.
Fun
He
fact:
was
on
fun.
TV, ugly men are allowed to have beautiful wives so long as they are stupid.
He wasn't stupid.
He
Rorschach
wasn't
was.
stupid. No, he wasn't
This is
stupid.
before that happened, Greg. This is the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That shit didn't happen until the late 80s and 90s. That shit didn't go down. You know?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
All right,
Back then, you could pull that off.
Mike, you're being bad boy, bad boy, Mike. Can you save Rob's BD night?
It was swampy.
You're part of his
Oh,
swampy.
Oh,
Find
man.
the ingredients for the blue pill.
Well, you know what the scary part is there? There's more creativity in that statement than Wizards of the Coast has had in 3 years.
Mike, we got a job for you.
Yeah, you're the new.
Get your snorkel, Mike. Get your snorkel.
Mike, start writing adventures for Wizards of the Coast right now. Right.
Yeah, you're an angry worker at the Viagra plant. What do you do?
I make
Spike the water supply. Make the world happy. You guys remember when Viagra came out? I kept hearing news stories about all these old people getting divorced because the old guy could finally get it up again after the first time in 25 years. And he's like, well, fuck this. I'm getting divorced and I'm going to go get some somewhere. So they blow the whole retirement fund after their divorce going to get laid, basically. It was like divorces. You'll see the thing on the chart just skyrocketed the year or two Viagra came out. A little tidbit of history for you, boys and girls.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
In case you wonder why you come, why you actually,
that was almost like a
watch
Rob
these live
moment
streams.
there.
Yeah. What boners though?
Folks, those of you that stuck it out to the end, thank you so much.
Right. This is what you waited for.
Yeah, you know, when the wheels come off at the end and we're all sober, but
no, we're not.
Really. All right. Not all of us are sober.
Maybe not Asmodeus over there.
Yeah.
Look at Asmodeus' eyes. They look like sober eyes to you. If you got pulled over, if you pulled Asmodeus over and saw them eyes, Eric, what do you think?
I'd be like, shit. All right, well, we're in a safe spot. Do you have an extra set of car keys at home? Can you just open up your trunk, toss your keys in there, lock the trunk? All right, start walking.
But if I'm Asmodeus, I'm going to hit you with my fucking plus 20 staff of doom.
If you hit
so
me,
it's over. It's over then, man.
It's over, dude. It's over.
That's called resisting arrest.
Yeah.
You just caught yourself a felony. Folks, thank you all. Thank you to the Knuckleheads with me for making this a great time. And even thank you to those that aren't here. Rob, whose activities right now we will remain nameless. Matt, who is probably firing somebody else as we are.
Yeah, he's probably.
That's like Norm from that. Yeah, he's like Norm from that Cheers episode. Remember when Norm was the firing guy and he would walk into a room and everybody would flee? You know.
Norm. So, folks, tomorrow night, Gamers Health, 8 p.m. It's another live stream where Rach and I, our community, talk about health issues. But trust me. It applies to this community. We are going to be doing a series with guests who can talk about what they're going through with their health issues. You're not alone. That's what it comes down to. So in any case, for this one, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. Don't be Tim. Don't roll all those ones. And back tomorrow at 8. Some other random video on Sunday, and that's right, Joe. We have a game on Sunday, don't we?
Yes, we do. Sunday night. Yeah, my brother can't make it, and which is great because if you're going to hit the spot where I think you're going to hit, his character would know some shit that will not be now known to the group. Therefore, it changes the whole complexion of everything.
There you
Tim,
go.
You in? You going to be in, Tim, or no? I know Sundays are hard for you.
Joe, I'll tell you what. I'll let you know when I can be.
All right.
Because you asked me. I always hate turning you down every week.
That's all right, man.
Don't hold the door for me. I'll tell you when to come to the door.
I knew you'd be a once in a while. That's all right. That's all right.
Right.
We got. What we could do is you could play your guy in solos like on a Monday night or something.
I have
you know what I mean?
No problem with that. I'd love to do that. Actually.
All right. Yeah. All right. We can try that then. We'll try to get something going like that. Maybe. All right. Not this Monday. We'll give me a week to figure something out.
We're out of here.
This is how we organize our shit, boys and girls.
Right.
This is it right here.
All right.